All right, we're back with Three Faces. Me, I am back. Austin held down the fort while I was just a variety of clown shoes excuses. And today, with us, we got Noost. Noost is next up on the list. So,
Hello.
welcome, Noost.
Hello.
First off, yeah, and then I guess, yeah, Austin, thank you for saying hello.
You're welcome.
I guess that is if I have to give an excuses as to why I keep having to miss is that my youngest child at this point takes 2.5 hours of torturing me straight to get to bed, and a lot of the times that turns out to overlap with podcasting time. So unfortunately, the last two times you guys have been recording, I've had a 3-year-old child just yelling at me and not going to sleep. So
Sounds
great
like hell.
experience. Yeah. All right. Well, how was everyone else's fantasy week? Noost is our guest. Do you want to tell us about yours?
I beat Bogey. I'm just looking at League Legacy here. Bogey and I, this was kind of a rivalry week for us. It was a lot of, we played each other 9 times. I think the newest game is in this data, but I'm 5-4 against him all time. It's
Neck and neck.
neck and neck. Davo can't be my rival because I'm 0-7 against him, so I have to be a rival with somebody, and it's Bogey. That's why I was talking about going to City Hall and shitting on his desk, and but yeah,
Davo can't be your rival because he has a winning record against you.
Yeah.
So it's Bogey who you're beating.
Yeah. But so I was up going into Monday Night Football with the 49ers and the Vikings, 28.8 points. I had Brandon Ayuk. He had McCaffrey and KJ Osborne, and shit, he made it close. It was within 9 points. So there's, and he mentioned it in a DM to me that like Jacoby Myers scored just a garbage touchdown of all garbage touchdowns in the Raiders game, and we could probably point to some other stuff, but it was a lot closer than I thought it would be. And I think I even got like 10 points out of Brandon Ayuk, and I was like, if I get 10 points out of him, that's probably like good game, but it was way too close. But got the dub. I'm now 6-1. I play Ta next week. Ta's 5-2. Everybody else is 4-3 or below. So I actually have the chance, if I win, to be 2 games ahead of the field in Brez.
That feels
That's
nice.
a generally rare accomplishment. It's hard. It seems like I know that we've been there. There's been a stream of shit talking presidents while I'm out, but it's usually a pretty competitive league.
Yeah, Presidents is weird because
yes,
like Sam Von Gillern, I think he's made like 2 waiver moves all year, but he's still like one of the best, probably 4 teams. We've got guys that don't start quarterbacks, presidents, that somehow
a guy who has got an undefeated season and then didn't start a quarterback in this season. So, and Sam is he's a variance guy if you really think about it, because he went from piss boy to champion. Like, so we've got both ends of the spectrum right in a row. So
didn't he win twice in a row?
Yes, I think he went piss boy and then won twice, if I remember right.
God, his team is like really solid this year too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. None of the drafting doesn't matter. None of it matters. You just will get randomly assigned players and fine.
His team is really fucking good.
His team's good. It's Mahomes, Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, Zay Flowers, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Brian Robinson in the flex, Evan Ingram at tight end. He's got a
big hat.
That's like a pretty good team for not buying some of the free agents like Kyron Williams or Puka Nacua.
No, he hasn't done anything. It's just good. Yeah. And also what's funny is it's really funny to refer to Brian Robinson as big hat outside of like me talking to Austin. Literally no one refers to him as big hat except us.
Yeah. There's me and you, Lucas, a buddy of mine. We refer to him as Big Hat all the time. And Benda knows Big Hat as well.
Okay, good.
Have you guys seen the iceberg concept for various like the Lord of the Rings iceberg or conspiracy theory iceberg? Big Hat is pretty low on that. You got to be plugged in NFL fan to know the reference
The
to
big hat.
It was
Wasn't
weird.
yeah,
That was a one and done. It was just like 4 months, and then we never saw. Nobody has a big
No.
hat anymore.
No, he's the only one with the big hat. And I just casually in conversation, so I'm in a neighborhood league, referred to, I have him on my team. I was like, yeah. And then I'm flexing big hat. And I had to like step back and explain, oh, you don't know about Brian Robinson's big hat? Okay, never mind.
If I ever, in the next 30, 40 years, win another title, I'm going to get a Mirthmobile big hat.
You should. Yeah, you could make it.
I'm going to get that before an alternate or a second jersey. I'm going to get a big hat.
Should. That's not gate locked behind a championship. You can just
I guess
get
I can just do that now. Yeah. Should I get Rosemary a fucking a Pacer like onesie and then a big hat?
I bet you could find you could get a foam Pacer, and then
that's a good idea.
Yeah, or you could make a body for like one of those little cars.
Laser.
Yeah, and like a shell that you can put on top of it.
Yeah, her Halloween costume next year will be a Pacer.
Perfect. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
And then you can say, hey, they'll be like, what is your kid? Oh, well, my kid is a mascot for my made-up fantasy football team.
Based on Wayne's World.
Based on the car from Wayne's World.
Yeah.
It's one of the better ones out there, to be honest.
I think it's one of the most unique.
So Noost is killing everybody in the President's League. Feels very good about himself. Obviously putting a lot of thought into this compared to some of us.
I mean, I think I'm like fourth in points. I do, as part of what I look at, I keep track of how people would be if we did a league median or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd still be in really good shape, even though I'm only fourth in points. I haven't run into the buzzsaws of the guys scoring, 140, 150, 170, like Edwards and Ta have or whatever the last couple weeks. So, I mean, I think my points against it's gotta be really fucking favorable. Here, I can find it.
Mine's, I'm surprised I'm as high as I am. I have a very high points against, but my points for isn't crazy. Yeah, it looks like Just Long is getting kind of screwed the most on that. Right. I think actually that they have an all-play record on League Legacy as well, if you ever want to look at that.
Well, I'm third from the bottom in points against. So, I mean, I've definitely benefited from it, but I looked back at my thing and I went 122, 122.
Good start.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 games where I've scored 122 point something out of 7 weeks. I had a 103, that was my loss, a 125, and then this week was 130. So it's I'm not ever going to blow it out of the water, I don't think, but I think it's a good solid team. But,
yeah, I'd feel good about it. I keep looking at these other players that I'm kind of thinking about picking up, and they seem to either be on you or Corey Anderson's team now, so that's cool. Me just sitting here praying for a Derrick Henry trade. Fingers crossed.
I'm hoping for a Derrick Henry trade.
Trying to get rid of him?
No, a trade to another team at the deadline. He is.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He's one of the people that's being mentioned as a major trade target because last year of his contract, I mean, the Titans already sold to the Eagles that Kevin Byard, the safety. I mean, they're kind of going to have a fire sale. I think even it's already come out that Tannehill's out this week again, and Will Levis is going to go. I mean, they're sellers at the deadline, and the thought is that Derrick Henry could go somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad about that. I got Spears has been sitting on my bench for I don't know, since week 2.
Right.
So
Spears could be my RB2.
There you go. All right, Austin. Well, how was your week?
Well, I'm kind of in the opposite boat. I'm 2-5 in the second lowest scoring team in Guggenheim. Things aren't ideal over here.
It's crazy because you and I had Chubb, Henry, and we have Kamara.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in between those because that was first, second, and then 6th or 7th round. So, I mean, we just must have diverged, 2 roads diverging in a wood or whatever.
Yeah, the two main differences were I went Hurts in the 3rd. You probably went a skill position player. I don't know.
Wide receiver, yeah.
You went Higgins.
Probably makes a difference.
my wide receiver 1 technically was Amari Cooper, and then I went Mike Williams, and so I lost
Got
2
it.
ACLs in the first 3
Ugh.
weeks. And yeah, things have been bad. I just lost to Zacher, but I gotta say, actually, it was a pretty good time. So Zacher was texting me on Sunday night. I had Hurts going, and he, I don't think he had anybody at that point. I was down basically I've been trying to crawl back, and my whole thing is I need to talk a lot of shit about my players, because the more I talk shit about them, the better they do. They
The
just
reverse jinx.
they try to spite me. So I would be like, Jalen Hurts is fucking trash. He's terrible. And then he'd chuck like a 50-yard bomb to A.J. Brown. On the reverse, Zacher's overwhelming positivity, he would text me, no, Jalen Hurts is one of the best. He's an MVP candidate. And then Hurts would fumble or throw a pick. And this happened the entire fucking night. He ended up going like 24-ish points. So we're within striking distance. I have Jake Moody on Monday night. Zacher texts me, hey, Moody's in the running for best kicker in the NFL. Moody misses a 40-yarder in a fucking dome. I ended up losing to Zacher by 1 point. So fucking unbelievable, man. I have 2 losses basically from my defense and kicker with, it's a combined 2 points because I got boned on a defensive deal with Renner. But also, hey, anybody listen to this? Look up the highlight for Jaden Reed's touchdown this week. I lost because of that.
Like a deflection, right?
Yeah, the pass was to Romeo Dobbs. It hit him right here. The ball careens off his fucking face.
Well, it was also
backwards
like
400
miles an hour.
Yeah, backwards 4 yards into the waiting arms of Jaden Reed, who's just laying in the end zone. Who Zacher has. The guy's projected like 3 fucking points. He just scores 9 out of nowhere. So that's me. Oh, also, fun fact. I picked up Darrell Henderson, got the alert that he's the starting running back. I picked him up, and I thought I fucking put him in my flex. I thought I got it in. But when I checked my lineup, the games had started, and he wasn't in there, and Michael Wilson was in my fucking flex. He's on my fucking roster. I picked him up, obviously, to play him, and he didn't make it in time. Otherwise, I would have killed him by like 15 points. Anyway.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
So, yeah, it's brutal. I'm 2-5. Zacher crawls over my dead fucking rotting corpse to get to 3-4, and it's kind of just I'm the second lowest. So I don't have points tiebreaker with anybody, even if I crawl out of this. It's kind of just gonna be over. Even though Kamara is, I fucking crushed it with Kamara. Puka's my fucking guy. He's my wide receiver 1. I traded for Lamb, but he was on bye, so that didn't really help me. But I don't know. Sucks. It sucks out here. How's your week, Jameson?
Well, I guess let me think about it. I think I have 3 weeks to cover, right? Because
you've been gone for a month.
I can pull it up if you want.
Well, I've got them up. It's like I lost the first 2. Nothing to report. I lost.
Oh my god!
What?
Are we going back to week 5 if we're looking at 3 weeks?
Well, yeah,
so week 5, you lost 152 to Bogey.
72. I got
72.
crushed.
Oh, that was the Bears night.
Yeah, the Bears night. That was the game that I lost that one on Thursday. It was just done.
Yeah.
It was good because we were.
DJ Moore, Justin Field, yeah.
Dad, I think this is the one where the old man was in town. So yeah, it was just okay, don't have to think about this, and I didn't. I just was okay, and then I checked back in. Literally every one of my players is a red projection or whatever because they were just way under. Everything sank. So yeah, I got crushed then. And then 6th, I played Ta
136 to 105.
I got an okay score, but Ta just crushes me. I think if I remember right, there's a lot of afternoon scoring that really put it away for him. But then there was just a couple of things I really liked. Tyler Bass, whatever's wrong is what I'm going to go with. 0 points. So he gets 2 extra points, misses 2 field goals. So really saving himself here versus Justin Tucker, 18 points. So this is the kind of matchup that we have. Marvin Mims everyone loves Marvin Mims, 0 points. His corresponding player across from him, Keenan Allen, 18 points. Like, obviously not his next best player, but like this is the kind of stuff we're looking. Eckler to 8 points. Williams on the Rams, 21 points. Like, so it was just, I just got crushed. It was fine. Like, whatever. But I got to score an okay amount of points. So, long term, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. Last week, this last one, good. I beat Jeff. So you're talking about long term rivalries or whatever. Jeff and I were 6-6 before this game. So we've been playing since the beginning. Yeah. So now I'm 7-6. So I've got one on him. Now, I guess there's some controversy on how League Legacy is totaling its scores. It does not count. It does not count for like a lot of these all-time things. It doesn't count the playoff stuff. I also think it should, because wins are wins. Yeah. But I did talk to the guy, and he says that he's going to try to figure out a toggle, or like you can put that on there. So then we would have a few of us bump over the 100 win mark of all time. So, yeah. But as far as this one goes, I beat Jeff. So that's great. And then Week 8, I'm playing Sam. We're projected to do like the exact same thing, so we'll see how that goes. But just in like the world, like in my world in general, my biggest fantasy news was that I got real inspired by the Lite phone, which is this like basic, like I don't even know what kind of phone. It's probably running Android or whatever it is, but it's like locked down to being like there's nothing to do on it. There's no feeds, nothing. Like it is like the most basics. I don't even think there's a game on it. It's like podcast, maps, phone, no email, no browser, anything like that. So I like
there's a guy I play Magic with that has one. I want it so bad, but my only phone is my work phone. Yeah. If I had a personal phone, it would be.
Well, that's I've like this just like this. You can't really tell that, but like my main screen is like nothing at this point. I just like stripped the whole thing down. Turns out there's like a backdoor to access, like you can pull down and access like browser, which it kind of defeated the purpose. Like all the fantasy stuff's gone and all that. So now like I kind of I check in like daily, but like this last weekend, I think I checked it like, I don't know, Sunday night or something like that. That was it. So I'm like living the healthy dream that we were talking about. Like I was just like, oh, we'll see how it goes. But I was looking Sunday and I'm like, okay, TJ Hawkinson needs like 2 points for me to win. And I was just expecting to wake up and it was like, well, he just like, he went backwards 10 yards and then fell down and doesn't play football anymore. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm used to seeing. But I got,
So you made everyone move to Discord and then deleted it off your phone.
Mm-hmm. But I still use Discord when I'm at home. So like, yes.
That's fair.
Well, everyone's complaining about this. You do not remember that GroupMe was like failing as an app at the time. Like
that's true. I had a lot of problems with GroupMe.
I could not use it at all as an app on my phone. Like it was just not functioning anymore. So
yeah, I had issues with like notifications never disappearing or messages just never sending.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I guess they did an update later and now it works better, but they hadn't done shit for like 3 years. So no one was expecting. It was like MSN Messenger or something. It was just like a ghost relic that was just like chugging through
MSN Messenger.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of just an old obsolete messaging service, just something that doesn't exist anymore. It
Back
was
when I was Mr. Happy Nuts at hotmail.com.
What?
Jameson created my MSN account when I was a young lad, and he made it Mr. Happy Nuts. So I'd be like trying to message girls I went to school with, and my fucking screen name was Mr. Happy Nuts.
I don't remember that at all.
Couldn't you change your MSN Messenger? Like, I mean, it was tied to your email, but it was you could change that, right?
You had to, but I don't think I ever did. It was just always Mr. Happy Nuts.
Yeah.
I should log into that old Hotmail, see if it's still there.
Even better.
Oh my god.
Oh man. All right. Well, okay. So that was that was a great trip down memory lane for Austin. But that was fantasy. I won. I think I'm 4-3. All I'm trying to do is get over the hump, so I don't have. I just want to be in the top of the bracket, and I'm just going to call the year. Like I don't care anymore. Like my team is just like. It just does not work. Like I've got all these players that should. Like I guess Deontay Johnson's back. Hooray! Like it's just like the most
love having a piece of that Matt Canada offense.
Yeah, I have the most uninspiring team. Like Austin Eckler doesn't score points anymore. Tony Pollard had that like real like I'm glad that he's there and he does pretty good, but like, it's just not.
Could somebody tell me what tight end to get just right now, please?
TJ Hawkinson.
No, free agent. Currently, I have Jake Ferguson, but I also have CeeDee Lamb, so I don't want to double up.
So don't even get me started on tight end. I'm the league's foremost.
Which one are you using right now, Canoes? You're 6-1.
I have Dallas Goedert. I had Sam Laporta.
That's fucking right. Presidents.
I had Sam Laporta.
Goddard for free.
I fucked around with I don't even remember who. A couple of idiots for a couple weeks. Notice Dallas Goedert got dropped for Sam Laporta probably, and put in a waiver claim with my $0 left after buying Jerome Ford for $100. Got Dallas Goedert, and he's been awesome since.
Yeah, I don't want to be lumped in with that. When you're talking about this President's League slander, I have TJ Hawkinson. I didn't even look for like tight end stuff. So that's not on me.
Well, so okay, I know we talked about this earlier, and I didn't finish what I was going to say. So you have President's League where you've got guys that are like, people are in President's League because historically they've been great.
Yeah,
I think that you also run into the random person like Sam that spikes into the league. That is kind of a weird wild card that doesn't ever pick anybody up, but is still somehow really good. And then you've also got guys that like have kids and can't pay super close attention to it. And I think that's a function of that. Like,
yeah,
I think Dallas Goedert sits on waivers and gets bid on by 3 or 4 teams in one of the lower leagues because it's a bunch of younger guys that don't have the history.
They're all old now,
right? Yeah. So like, we're not all super plugged in anymore necessarily, even though we're historically pretty good players.
Not plugged in at this point. Like,
no, my point. Dallas Goedert doesn't sit on waivers in any league other than Presidents, and he got picked up for Cole Kmet, not fucking Sam Laporta.
Oh, is that what it was? Was Cole Kmet? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
God. After like a 2-touchdown week or something. Yeah.
Look, I also was in a theme park when all that happened, so like, I was definitely not messing around with any of that. So.
Can I take this opportunity in a public forum for the 27 people that listen to this podcast to explain why I don't like tight end?
You know what? This is your soapbox. You go ahead and do it.
Well, so here's the deal. So
let me
tell them.
You're going to put me in the primary seat?
Yes,
okay, so I've done a look over the last few years, and basically tight end 5 slots in at like wide receiver 32. Like if you take at the end of the year, you go 1 through 36 receivers, and you go 1 through 5 tight ends. That 5th tight end, his average points per game would slot in like between wide receiver 30 and 36. So if you took away the tight end only slot, actually just my opinion is you take that slot totally away. So you lose a starter and you make the 3rd wide receiver slot, which is already relatively deep. You make that a tight end slot. You're only really adding like 5 viable starters to that wide receiver 3 spot. And then you just totally get rid of this random bullshit with tight end where you're pretty happy with a 4 reception for 43 yards game. It's just
so you're saying get rid of tight end or make tight end the wide receiver 3 slot?
No, get rid of tight end slot as a mandatory starter. Take that 3rd wide receiver slot because we have 3 wide receiver starters, and make it a wide receiver tight end flex. So if somebody really wants to have Kelsey, really wants to have Mark Andrews, something like that, they can still start him in 2 spots. But it's just when there's no tight ends after tight end number 5 that would slot into a wide receiver 3, which is your last wide receiver starter. I just don't see the point of that position. I mean, the arguments against it are like it is kind of a streamy. You can either pay for Travis Kelsey with draft capital, or you can, you can draft late round tight end, stream tight end, whatever. There's some play to it.
Yeah.
As a starting position, I get that, and I think I've done really well over the last years with that. I've never drafted a really high tight end, I don't think. So, I mean, keep it if you want. I'm just saying it's a garbage fucking position. It's terrible. It's so bad.
It's almost like the way I think about it is it's a onesie afterthought. It's like the opposite. It's like a it's like quarterback but bad. Like you're just like low scoring.
Right.
It's just the thing you have to have. You can
Like-
get some positional scarcity out of it, or like make it a position you're actually going to own, and then hope you can also do well in the other ones, which I think you're saying. You have. It just exists. Like now, am I sold that that's necessarily means it needs to get booted? I don't know, because I think it's like, who cares?
I'm sensitive to the other side of it.
Yeah.
I'm sensitive to the
Yeah.
idea that it's a weird position that
Yeah,
you can actually treat a bunch of different ways. You can try to fill that position using draft capital, like Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, whatever, or you can go the streaming route.
yeah.
I love doing that. I stream defenses until I find one I like. I stream kickers until I find one I like. I love streaming, and I love what freedom it gives you to build your team the way you want to. Um, it's just such a bad position. It's hardly even a real position in the NFL
I mean,
anymore.
yeah, it's not like it's
Not
not
that we're trying to
value.
emulate real football. That's not what we're trying to do here. But it's just, I mean, Travis Kelce's not a tight end. He's a fucking slot receiver.
Yeah, that's like what you want out of that position. Basically, at this point, you want to like look for the guys that are actually receivers.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I am sensitive to the thought of maybe moving some positional requirements around. Like, well, I'm more sympathetic to saying the third wide receiver is a wide receiver tight end slot than just getting rid of it altogether. But yeah, I mean, it's still like 4 years away. I'll be like over 40 by the time I consider this. So
right.
maybe when I'm coming like when I'm graduating a child, then I can get rid of tight end there for you.
I don't know. That's my opinion on tight end. I know Bam doesn't like kickers and defenses and stuff, but I like those positions because I think there's a lot of play with those too.
When I'm done, we're gonna have like everyone's gonna pick like a quarterback, 2 running backs, and 3 wide receivers, and nobody gets to read. Like, I'm not gonna publish scores until I read them in a newspaper, like it used to happen. You get nothing. You have to mail your roster moves to me before the deadline. Get those letters in. Oh, I have another thing is that I did one of the most exciting sports thing I actually did get to do recently was I got to watch the ALCS. That was exciting. Baseball was exciting. And so my daughter has never really like sat down and watched like a baseball game. I've tried to have it on more and have it on the radio and things like that. And this last one, so Game 7, we actually just sat and watched the whole thing, and she like had a blast and loved it. And like now Garcia's her favorite player, and like, well, of course, like, but he was everyone's favorite player except like any Astros fan. After that. But that was exciting. So that was an actual like fun sports event versus fantasy, which is mostly just like pain.
Yeah.
We were very close to like the worst World Series ever, Phillies Astros, but now it's like amazing.
Yeah. It's like literally the opposite. Like nobody wanted to see the Astros I have less opinions about the Phillies, but no one wanted to see that happen again. And now it's like the Rangers and the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. There's
Hell
like
yeah.
30 total thousand fans of those two teams in there, and I love it.
There's a lot. I mean, the Rangers fans, they just plug away. I mean, historically not a great franchise if you like to win World Series and pennants and stuff like that. Sort of a sad record for that kind of thing. So it's exciting. There's actually really funny is that like in general, the Cowboys is like I don't care about the Cowboys at all, but I actually really like watching the Rangers and the Stars. So who are both really good right now. So like it's a great day to be like into like my sports fandom. Like, because I don't care what the Cowboys do, and everyone gets to cry about Dak, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not going to Arlington and paying $1 million to park and take 5 hours to get out of there. Like, no thanks.
Who in their right mind would go to an NFL game when you could watch it on TV?
At this point, I have no idea.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
I've been to a Vikings game because I can walk to the light rail and go for like, I mean, we got tickets last year for the Colts game for like $30-$40. And that was I didn't have to park. I could get drunk at my house and then hit the train and drink on the train and then go to the game, and that was great. But I don't understand the people that drive. Well, the only exception I would say is Kansas City, because that's basically Ames. It's just a big parking lot in a circle
Yeah.
around that. But like, I don't know. You also like the stadiums are so massive, you can't really see like what the fuck is going on. You stand around a lot while commercials are going on. Just watch
Yeah,
Red Zone.
that's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, I guess we're just ranting about random stuff now, but like football
I know
is,
we are
like,
way off this
Yeah.
agenda that I'm looking at right
that's
now.
fine. This is fun. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like football as an in-person product is like sucky. Like it's,
Yeah.
I don't, and I guess like all the new rules with the college stuff. So now it's just like TV timeout guy all the time. Like that sucks.
No, I
Jameson
mean
has been gone for a month, so we have to
we've
catch up
perfected
with
it. It's Red Zone.
Yeah,
I mean,
Red Zone.
there's no other way to watch a football game besides Red
No.
Zone. And
you know what that means? That means that you really need 16 games like going simultaneously to make one good entertainment package.
I think the noon slate where there's like anywhere from like 5 to 8 games,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. It's when it goes to the afternoon games and there's like 3, that gets pretty fucking rough. Where you're like on this like Seahawks Cardinals game for a while because nobody's past the 50-yard line. And
last week was perfect. We had 6 early, 4 afternoon. Like that is delicious. Yeah.
Very good.
I was
know
too
that
busy at the fucking pumpkin patch to be watching the afternoon slate, so I missed that part.
I know that my brain has been like rotted because, one, like Red Zone itself in the afternoon is not enough if there's only 3 games. But then 2, if I'm like, it's like the night game and Merritt's like, oh, you want to watch football? I'm like, I do, but what I want to do is have my laptop have the game on while I play Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
I want to do both.
Like,
I don't want to watch an entire NFL game individually. I don't want to waste 4 hours of my life doing that.
That was somebody pointed out. Like, I had a buddy of mine. He played baseball forever, and he was like, "That's like, like baseball's like a lot." He says it's a pastime. Like it's something that happens passing
while
the
you're
time.
doing other things.
Like, the expectation of like regular season baseball is just that it's on. You don't, it's in the air. You go look sometimes, or it's just in the radio, which I got a radio. Like, this is my solution to not buying every stupid package for every single Dallas team.
Man, everyone get Discord, and then you bought a fucking radio.
I bought a radio, and I've been listening to hockey games and baseball games, and it rules. And
is it an analog dial or is it a digital dial?
This is an analog dial. Look at, I had to mark. I marked the sports stations and then the AM affiliate. So when they switch over to that, I've got it. Which brings me to my peak sports experience. Nothing to do with fantasy. Was that I was coming home during one of the the playoff series games, or the ALCS game, and I'm on the highway listening to the baseball game on my AM radio, and I'm like in my car, and I'm like, this is the best. This is way better. But to go back to your point,
this is back when America is a real country.
Yeah, man. But no, there was a like when you were saying like I don't really want to watch the whole football game. It's like, it's way better if something just exists. And it's a different thing than having to slog.
Well, I feel bad because Merritt is always like football season is very exciting to me. I want to watch football, but reality is I want to watch fantasies, which means Red Zone. And then when it's just one night game, Merritt's like, oh, so who's playing tonight? Like, we going to watch the game? And in my mind, I'm like, I mean, yeah, but this is going to take 4 hours. So what if I just do something else the entire time and just check into the game the whole time?
I've watched more of the night games this year than I did last year. Last year, our kids were like between 3 and 10 months old or whatever. I guess 6 months old. I was exhausted last year when it got to the night game. I never made it past halftime. This year I've made it past more, but it seems like they've done a better job on the Sunday night games at least.
Yeah, I'm in bed at halftime every Sunday night game at this point, barely making it to the fourth quarter. Unless I'm like praying for Jake Moody to, I don't know, do his job. Yeah. When you kick the ball, it goes into the uprights.
The other thing about watching like a singular game is you're often subjected to the announcing team for that game, which could be,
God, Al Michaels,
Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, whoever the fuck is with Collinsworth now. The guys that go to like the Iowa State games, they usually wear a starter jacket and like a trucker hat. And they have like the big headphones with the antenna on it, and they're listening to the radio call while watching the real game.
Yeah.
I think that might actually be the move. Is like
Yeah.
for Vikings fans, why not just listen to Paul Allen
Right.
Look, man,
while you're watching the game on
this is the
TV?
future of sports entertainment. Is this?
I love
guy.
Paul Allen. Paul Allen sounds like me watching a game. Like, just he's like pissed off, but like just mad at refs, pissed off at Jalen Rager. Like, just
He's always like just a beat away from saying something that he can't say on the radio. Like, oh fuck!
yeah. What the fuck was that?
Let's hear Paul Allen's announcement.
Yeah. Somebody posted a Paul Allen highlight clip in the Discord like 3 months ago, and it's just delicious.
It's awesome.
The Colts,
That's
the
great.
Colts punter. He's punting. Punter's terrible.
It was
just
that game. It was the game where they came back from like 20
Yeah.
down or whatever.
Go
it
ahead
was.
and keep cheating, cheaters. Yeah, it's awesome. I love that dude.
All right, do you think we should probably like get past the intro section on this?
Probably.
It's been 30
Hey,
Yeah.
so that is that is kind of. I didn't have a lot of goals coming into this podcast, but the
Wow.
whole keeping it under an hour thing, a lot of people that complain about that don't listen to podcasts on, 1.2, 1.5 speed, and it really shows they complain about the length of the podcast.
I've never done that.
No, I used to do it. I don't do it anymore. I want to get every ounce of. I appreciate the work that goes into the podcast now that we create them.
Maybe
so-
all my pauses are planned and they're part of the experience.
I'm
Yeah, maybe-
for work tomorrow. I'm driving from like basically West Des Moines to Pella, which is 55 minutes. Well, it's probably more than that. It's probably like an hour and 15 minutes. And I was actually like at 6 p.m. before you texted me. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to listen to the D League podcast on my drive in the morning to Pella. Well, now I don't have anything to listen to in the morning.
You can just listen to it again and hear.
I'm
how
not
you
going to
sound.
listen to my own voice.
I do. I listen to every episode.
Yeah, I listen to every episode. We got to get those.
Merritt's like,
listens
the
up.
next morning I'll be listening, and Merritt's like, are you listening to yourself right now? I'm like, yeah.
I want
this
to hear
was
what I
actually pretty
sound
funny.
like, and out of my own head. Paul says that he doesn't realize there was a pod script. Well, there's not. There's like an outline. We kind of like mostly Austin throws together in the 5 minutes like before the thing because I forget to do it all the time. I'm more of a facilitator and talking head type, like a figurehead.
Where's Paul
Yeah.
saying this?
In the chat.
The
Open the chat.
This chat.
Mine
You can
doesn't
click
say
the
it.
chat on the right.
I have it, but it doesn't show anybody.
I hadn't seen Paul until, what was it, 10, 12 p.m. We went live at
Yeah, Paul showed up.
We went live at 9:51. I was a little miffed that he chose my podcast to not be in the chat for.
I mean, he's
here.
back. He's back. All right. Well, let's go into his actual stuff and we'll just blow through it in 20 minutes. All right. So week 7 reactions. Austin, you wrote a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Well, so like I just figured we could do anything we saw in the actual leagues combined with whatever we saw in the NFL. My first thing was Bijan fucked everybody, got a 0 if you had him in there. Apparently Bijan has migraines, and if you listen to his like interview, he doesn't know what they are. So Bijan, if you're listening, I know you are, you're a big fan.
Needs a
I have
vocabulary lesson.
migraines. So hit me
Both
up,
of
dude.
them for sure.
There's this weird thing about migraines where like I got a pen now, and ever since I got the pen that would help me if I got a migraine, I have not had a migraine. There's like a weird mental aspect with some migraines where the idea of having a migraine can trigger one. And so if you have the like ability to take care of it, it like calms you and prevents migraines. I don't. That might be a placebo thing. Maybe Juice can chime in for the first time since he tanked my draft idea. But the migraine thing, since I've had my pen, I haven't had one. It's been over a year. So
That's awesome for
somebody
you.
get this dude help. Next thing, Kirk O'Chains, primetime Kirk, the PTK killer. Fucking dude just beasted on the number 1 defense in the league. So a couple weeks ago when Bendo was on, he was trying to figure out if the Vikings are going to tank or not. I thought they were going to. Now look at the Vikings schedule. They could very easily go 5-1, 4-2, and suddenly be in the playoff race. Like, I don't know. The dude's Kirko is balling. I hope they re-sign him. I feel like now with Jordan A coming on, like the team's got some juice. I'm a little more excited than I was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Oh, also, Purdy definitely got concussed.
I didn't know that until like 7:30 p.m.
That's
tonight.
tough.
I was scrolling Twitter as I was trying to like get the kids down, and I was like, "What? Brock Purdy in concussion protocol?" But
Yeah,
I saw the hit, and it looked like he took a fucking shot on a QB sneak.
yeah. I remember I watched the whole game, and I remember this sneak being like, "Oh wow, that kind of sucks." But like, it's pretty clear like he was pretty good, and then the concussion or whatever happened, and then he just throws 2 ducks to
Yeah, it was like 0
the other
for
team.
0 for 6 with a QB spike and 2 interceptions after that, which, you know, it's an
Yeah.
excuse, I guess, but
But it's always fun to watch Reddit just explode after like 10 games of Purdy to being excellent and be like, actually, all the stats say Purdy should have more turnovers and he sucks. It's like, actually, his brain got scrambled and he's completely fine. But yeah, that's the only
I just
NFL.
want to pause real quick. I don't know if you mentioned this, but we have 2 viewers right now, and it's just both Edwards brothers.
I'm pulling up a
Really?
world clock for Singapore.
Yeah, what time is it over there? Probably 8 a.m.
Good
Just like,
morning, pod.
just like hopping into the chat when he's taking his morning shit.
Yeah,
what time
changing the
is it?
baby's diaper.
Current local time. It's 11:17 a.m. in Singapore.
Oh, you should be at
So
work.
Jeff
dude.
and I had a fun
He might be
aviation
taking an early lunch.
conversation a couple weeks back. Shout out
what?
to planes. We had a nice aviation conversation like a couple weeks back.
Did you guys exchange expertise?
No, well, I mean, we just were like, "What's your favorite plane?"
What is your favorite plane?
Oh, it was complicated. I can't remember.
It was complicated.
Yeah, it was basic. We were on like basically like by manufacturer.
Oh,
something
I
like
see.
that. I think he
All
said the 747, some specific one. Anyway, all right, keep going.
Mine's the Spitfire.
That's a
So-
good one.
Guggenheim, if we just want to get into, did you have any reactions, Knust, NFL related? I know Jameson doesn't.
Nope.
I don't know. I guess most consequential game in my opinion was the Sunday night game, Dolphins at
and
Eagles.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to see the Dolphins win a game against a team that's more physical than them. Maybe that's the fucking recipe, is just to beat the shit out of them. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was pretty surprising me because the Eagles defense had not been that impressive going through like 5 weeks. Like, Washington put up 30 on them. The Vikings were right in there with them. It seemed like pretty much other than their front four, it was like fine. And then the Dolphins could do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that touchdown though, that Tyreek Hill had to the left corner of the end zone, where it was just like 2 guys stacked on top of him, and he just outran them both.
Sprinted,
It's just like that guy is so fucking unreal.
Yeah, I get to play Tyreek this week. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, it's always fun to play Tyreek.
Yeah. All right, on to actual fantasy. We're 43 minutes in.
Yeah, now we're going
League
to talk about
stuff.
this thing.
Here we go. Guggenheim, my league, first and best. All of the top
Before
3.
that, Jeff just said that he sold the very last 747. That's pretty.
Wow.
That's a cool feather in your cap.
That is
cool.
That is pretty sick.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Why don't they make
host a
747s anymore?
fantasy football podcast sometimes that 6 people watch.
I'm a business analyst.
Yeah, I'm a businessman. I've got business plans. All right, keep
So,
going.
I guess if the 747 was so great, wouldn't there be more of them to sell? They just stopped making this really good plane. I don't know about that, dude. Nice narrative. Anyway, Guggenheim, all 3 of the top 3 picked QBs combined so far, their teams have 6 wins. So I have Hurts. I'm 2-5. The Mahomes team is 1-6, and I just lost to Zacher, who has Josh Allen, and he is 3-4. So the whole narrative in the offseason of like grab your QB early. There's a reason why Knust is doing well and I am not, and that is probably it. We deviated from the plan. I've never gone early QB.
No.
I went early QB, and
early
it's fucking
early
me.
QB is a fucking trap.
This was
destroyed
like
me.
this was like, I mean, even the guys that aren't like that. What's that? the fantasy footballers or whatever kind of like meme podcast that is, like other ones that like they actually have a brain. We're like thinking about, we're kind of like saying that, this was a smarter idea this time. But it's like, I'm just going to write on a paper somewhere, do it in this order, and then I'll just pick whoever's there. And that's all the thought I'm going to put into this. It doesn't matter.
I will say I've always been late round quarterback type drafter.
Yeah.
And like the last 2 years have like totally shaken my faith, because I don't know if it's people holding more quarterbacks. I don't know if there's just no middle class of quarterbacks. Like we have, even over the last 2 years, you've got guys that have been like, they used to be reliable that totally fell off. A lot of like the old guard retired. Your Drew Brees is retired. Your Ben Roethlisberger took a dive. I mean, quarterback's been tough for me the last couple of years. I will say though that like Hurts, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson are still the top right now in the league. They're not like probably the advantage you signed up for,
right?
Drafting them at that high, but I mean,
that's the problem.
I got two in like the 10th round or something.
Hurts hasn't gone under 20 points, I don't think. But Jordan Love, other than like 1 week, has been over 20 points.
Yeah, week one he had 12, but every other week he's been really good.
I guess
there was like the whole thing of like,
right? We're signing up for the guarantee.
We're trying
to. Yeah, we could have maybe guessed at one of these other people, and then they could have sucked.
Yeah, but I think I just looked at all the playoff teams last year, and like 90% of them had either Hurts or Mahomes.
They did. It was that was like why that's why I was like, maybe I can't do this anymore. Maybe I can't fucking figure out this streaming quarterback situation. But
it's always hard. Like, I don't know. I just, the year is not going well. Like maybe just sometimes injuries are too much for me to overcome. Like maybe my draft strategy was okay, other than ACLs are missing from the legs of my players, right? Like maybe it would have been all right, but it's hard to like look past that and be like, yeah, what I did was okay.
Yeah,
because Chubb has no injury history. I mean, Mike Williams kind of does, but not really season ending. He usually just misses a couple games a year, but I don't know. It's been shitty. Anyway, so Guggenheim. Langton is still the second highest scoring team in the league, but he is 3-4 now. He's lost 3 in a row, just like me. Hey, I have like 200 less points than him, but he's down there in the gutter with me. And Denton is alone at the top at 6-1. We got Herman German, so Mallet and Freeze are 6-1. Freeze is definitely not going to be piss boy now. That's
way to go, Freeze. I'm so fucking proud of you, buddy.
I think he needs one more win to guarantee he wouldn't be, right?
To guarantee playoffs?
7?
There will be 7 teams that miss the playoffs across the 7 leagues, but not many of them.
What are you doing?
My video's all blurry for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what you did. It won't focus.
Anyway, you can still hear me, right?
Yeah. It would be the story of the century if he went 6-1 and was still piss boy.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Can he be piss boy from Herman German? I guess Newhall and Old Hall are the 2 below presidents, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
If it's like a family league, that's where the piss boy comes from.
Yeah.
I have faith in my boy.
Because you got, what is it? You have to like be the worst. Yeah, I don't know. I can go look it up. You have to be like the worst out of all of them.
Do you know what rocked Corey Anderson's world this year? He looked at like Freeze's team, who was like doing well. I think Freeze was undefeated at one point. Had like Najee Harris, Miles Sanders. They compared rosters at one point somehow. I forget the context, but Corey's like, "Am I retarded? Did I have the same fucking roster as Freeze?"
This year?
This year, yeah. Freeze was like, "Oh yeah, I forget what the context was, how they compared him, or if it was because I work with Corey, so I go over to his desk and talk fantasy all the time. But I was like, hey, you have Najee, and you have Miles Sanders, and you have this other guy, and you have this other guy. Freeze also has those guys, and he's like, oh no. Oh no.
How's that possible? Najee and and Miles have been awful.
They've been dog shit. I mean, they have to have something different
Yeah,
with their teams
they probably have
that's
Kyron or
making the
something.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Side note. So the other week, Bam, when you and Will were on the podcast, it might have been the first week maybe that you were alone without Jameson. You guys were like giving me props about something, and I went over to Corey's desk and I was like, am I a dumb person's idea of a smart person for the nice things they were saying about me? Like the fact that Bam and Will they're complimenting me. Is that something I should actually be worried about?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, at this point.
Will and I are. Will's actually 2-0 since being on the pod. I am
There
the
you go.
opposite, but yeah, I would say that's accurate. You're our hero. Two
Yeah.
fucking morons.
Oh my god. All right.
All right, Blipto. Blaze got his first win. Took down Eric
Do it.
Voss.
Say it. Yeah.
Eric Voss. After Voss got Keontae Ingrammed, which we know Tal loves. So yeah, Keontae Ingram is apparently not
Tal
the
loves Keontae Ingram.
starting running back for the Cardinals.
Is that the first time he's pulled one of those this year?
Yeah, that's the first one.
That is a top bit. Is
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck off. Yeah, the sleeper recommendation. T-Shin keeps getting away with it. So he was on the pod last week. He's gotten like 4 wins with a combined like 2 points. He managed to play, I think, the only team he could have played in Blipto and won. So now he's fucking 5-2.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm gonna pause there. Every single person who's been on here and complained that they didn't get into presidents, they complained that they didn't get into presidents when I did the cutoff based on their actual their stats for their entire career.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is I posted somewhere else. They're telling on themselves. They're saying, hey, I'm not good enough to actually make it to the President's League. Like based on my raw stats, I had to go through a series of circumstances to get there. I can't just, earn it the old-fashioned way by just winning
Everyone
games.
on the pod lately telling on themselves not being very good. That's what you said.
Okay, well, we just discovered that League Legacy doesn't take into account playoff record, so you're missing.
Well, that's when you're
multiple
talking about raw,
wins from everybody.
You're talking about raw win totals. I don't know if it's counting that as a percentage. It wouldn't count losses then either.
Yeah, but it wouldn't. But if you had 2 extra wins when you got a title.
But also there's probably years where you get 2 extra wins and win a title, and then there's years where you.
Or there's a year every single year where you make it the first game and then lose.
Right. And then stop paying attention. I think there's also some degree of I'm in the playoffs and presidents, but I lost the first week, so who fucking cares, I can't even money out. So
that's not on me. That's not on me.
I don't do that, but
all right. Well, I'm just saying that everyone wanted to complain in here and say that the only reason they're in presidents was my fault when in fact it was their own fault.
A conspiracy.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, keep going. Oh, it was Blaze's birthday recently, so maybe that's why he won.
Happy birthday, Blaze.
Yep.
Hope you did a shot book. Peter Squervo, we got Murph. Murphy lost. This is pretty funny. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. He started the Detroit kicker, and there's just nothing. There's no stat. There's no attempted. There's no
How did that
miss.
game end
There's
up?
no anything. It's just a guy's name and then a blank space underneath it. There's not even a 0. It's just nothing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they tried. They only scored in the fourth quarter, and they tried for a 2-point.
Yeah.
Down.
He attempted nothing.
35.
It's as if whatever that guy's name is, he never existed.
He didn't even exist.
There
Paul
was
says it's his birthday this Friday, so happy birthday, Paul.
There was a
That
punter.
is
There was a punter for, I think it was the New Orleans Saints for a while when they were really good with Drew Brees, where he would make a big deal when he didn't do anything throughout an entire game. They just didn't punt. And he'd be like, fucking hard day at the office, boys. No stat. Mark
Club
Titus
Trill?
from Club Trillion, where it's like a guy that comes in at the end of the game. He plays 1 minute, has 0,000 for all the other relevant
Yeah.
stats, and that's a trillion is what it's known as.
That's
But
amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
God damn.
What a goofy.
Also in Peter's Cuervo, the Dusty Nightmare is over. He's 3-4, and he hasn't checked his lineup since week 1. So
Well, actually, you know what's funny about him? He would have won this week's prize, except he didn't start. Like he had like 5 players not playing.
what was the week? Are we gonna
The
get to
weekly
it?
prize was like worst manager, so like lowest potential points scored or whatever. You know, like then you look in sleeper
Of someone who is actually trying.
Yeah, which I guess we could say TJ Schmidt won that with 82%.
Nice job, bud. Nice job,
Yeah.
TJ.
Boy. All right, Newhall. The rebrand continues to fail. It's 1-6. You got to pack it up. Next year is your year, Benda. Don't worry about it, man.
That is a sick franchise, though. By the way, Benda.
It's very cool.
Very
I need
cool.
to post all these new ones we've got. I've been lazy and
that franchise came to be. Ben and I have gone to the midnight twice together, and then we were having some cocktails at the draft this last year, and it was like, dude, what about something the midnight related? And
that's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Old Hall Rippers at 6-1.
Fuck yeah, go Mark.
Good job, Mark. See, that's how you get that win percentage up. Win games.
Hasn't he been like 4 title games?
He has,
yeah,
but
he's also had a couple. He's had some really bad seasons, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, but the title games to get there would be like, I don't know, 6 more wins that he has.
His record on League Legacy right now is 86-80 for a 5.518 win percentage.
Yeah, definitely better.
51.8.
All right.
I mean, Mark is the GOAT, obviously.
Yeah.
No, he's
I'm
not.
not giving him
Davo's
that.
probably the GOAT.
I refuse.
Also in Old Hall, Bianchi is 5-2, but he has the most points scored. I thought the 6-week or 7-week was it last week that was most points scored across all leagues?
This is Adam Bianchi.
6.
Yeah, he has 945. He is the number 1 scoring.
He's got a .488 win percentage. He's under 500, and he's like 5th on League Legacy. Like, how is this calculated?
I don't know. Wait, this season, or you mean overall?
No, overall, like win percentage.
I'm not looking at the record book. I don't know.
That's strange.
It's under history.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at history here. I can share it if you want.
What thing are you looking for? What was your question about? The league rating?
Well, how is somebody with a sub 500 win percentage 5th in ELO? Is that me not understanding how that thing's calculated?
I mean,
I don't about like who you played.
Yeah, the ELO is about who you played.
Okay.
Like, so he's in his history beat a bunch of the people who were.
Yeah, he's playing a bunch of people at the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a function of me not knowing how this thing is calculated. Clearly.
Yeah, I know it's a mystery. It just tells me. Well, actually, I hate it now because I'm like 12th. So yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah. Also, while we're talking about my buddy Mark, he came. So I was accused of dodging Mark when he came on here. Right? That was the accusation that I was dodging Mark.
Fight me, coward.
We'd have to listen back to the tape, I think.
I think that was literal words. Fight me, coward.
That was right. Fight me, coward. He says. Except he wasn't a guest. He wasn't even a guest until it was already known I wasn't going to be on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, who's dodging who? Is my question.
Happy to
he
come
only
on
comes
if Jameson's not on.
When I'm not here and I'm the coward. I think this is slander. This is ridiculous. Anyway.
Well, Mark can only do it on Thursdays.
That's not my fault.
It only worked the one day because
Thursday's game night. Thursday's game night. So, okay. So my point stands. It was already known that I wasn't going to be here, and that's the day he comes on. But I'm not. I'm the one dodging. I don't think so. I don't think so, pal. Anyway,
you're not that guy, pal.
Right. I'm gonna hear some at 2 a.m. I'm gonna get a text about how much of an idiot I am.
I do wake up with a lot of texts from Mark in the morning about the pod.
It's motivating.
He's up early. Then just gotta get going, I guess.
Is he only available like Thursdays because he just doesn't schedule appointments on Friday? Or
I don't know.
Probably.
one of those, Dennis, or
That's the deal, right?
Be one of those,
Thursday.
Dennis, or
That's
something.
the deal, right? You go to school for like 20 years straight, and then you get Fridays off.
It'd be sick.
Yeah, it would.
Be awesome.
All right. Yeah. Oh, you asked who had most points. Most points was last week, but it was Rod.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Rod's second right now, but
Yeah.
yeah, he got it last week. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it must have
Nice,
just.
Rod. Let's fucking
Yeah.
go, Rod.
Yeah, Rod. Hell yeah.
Rod's the man. All right, President's League. I wrote a bunch of stuff, but this is your
You
league. so
didn't.
guys
You
talk
did not
about it.
write this. I wrote this. There was nothing for presidents in this agenda.
Yeah, he wrote all that.
So James Von
I wrote
Jeezy.
you were 6-1.
I don't know if you did or not. Oh, maybe you did. But Akon and Von Jeezy, dead. Former champ or last year's champion, 1-6, probably dead. Jordan Addison lifts Davo over Stewart. Davo improves to 4-3, and Stewart drops to 2-5. Davo did not start a quarterback. He had Joe Burrow on bye and Deshaun Watson. Somehow didn't start a quarterback, and it helped him because Deshaun Watson got negative 0.8 points, which when I saw that, I was like, so again, we talked about it earlier in the pod. I'm 0-7 against Davo all time. And if you count playoffs, it's probably worse than that. To me, that is a soul read. That is a guy who knew that Deshaun Watson was going to get minus 0.8 points and was like, nah, we're just not going to start a quarterback.
That's the most insane move.
Davo knows. He always knows.
I'm sure it was an accident, but
yeah. But
my first thought was like, did he know? Did he know? Because I'm just so jaded from getting my fucking ass kicked by him over the last since 2014, 9 years. I'm 6-1. Your boy is 6-1. Taz 5-2. Everybody else is at 4-3 or lower. If I beat Ta next week, which is dubious, I might have a 2-game lead on the league. So we'll see.
So if you win if you win next week, you're guaranteed playoffs, right? 7-1, right?
Right. I mean,
wins.
I think just warning everybody listening to this, there will be a 7-7 team that doesn't make the playoffs. Somewhere in the 7 leagues of 12 teams, 84
That sounds
teams.
like something I could arrange. I could win out and be 200 points lower than the next 7-7.
So I don't want to say 7 wins is guaranteed or to make the playoffs, but 7-1 is almost surely guaranteed to make the playoffs. You're going to accidentally win an 8th game in the last, 6 weeks of the season or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and just while we're talking about this, like, you're talking about being last and whatever, relegation is the lowest 2 in the regular season rankings that does not make the consolation final, championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you are in the 11th or 12th spot and you're in President's, New Hall, or Old Hall, you are on deck to be relegated unless you make it to that final, top of the bracket game.
Right.
Like in there. And then you can save yourself.
Not confusing at all.
It's not really.
I know it's not.
It's not. But the same goes for Piss Boys. So that actually, I think, might make Freeze safe at 6 wins. Like, it's highly unlikely there'll be that many people because we've got a bunch at 1-5 or whatever that have 1 win, bunch at 2 wins. So, like, possible, maybe theoretically, but like, I think he's safe this year, actually. Austin left. He's back.
That's it for presidents. I mean,
hello.
There's
we have a lot of middle.
There's me at 6-1, Todd 5-2, and then there's 5 teams. So 7 teams are better than 4-3 or better.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy. It really, I mean, I'm rooting right now for carnage in the middle. I want 4-3 teams to play, the 1-6 teams and lose.
You're in the situation I was last year where I ended up just losing like 5 games in a row, but all of the teams that could like get up to me lost to the people that dragged them down into hell.
Yeah. Like
you're in a great spot. You can just like coast and watch them just eat each other.
Right.
If somehow, I mean, you and Ta, if you ended up beating him, then that would just even kind of put you the most.
Then I'm almost surely, I don't even know who Ta plays the rest of the year.
I don't even know who Ta is.
The year,
Ta? Taz, right around the corner. What's his name? Jeff asks who scored the most total points scored in a league. I'm glad you asked that, Jeff.
No,
It's
he asked.
me.
He asked, who has scored the most points in
In
presidents?
general. Well, I would rather say of all time, it's me. So that's even more impressive. But
Well, you could just open your sleeper app and see that. Why are you asking
he's-
the podcast that?
He wants us to actually.
Oh, it's because it's Jeff.
Jeff
I
doesn't do anything.
see.
He actually doesn't do anything anymore. He just delegates literally every part of his life. But I do want to. I didn't realize this was me. But yeah, most total points scored in a league. It's me. That doesn't seem right though. That's way too high. I don't know what kind of, like it says.
Just for the record, Jeff has the most points at 895. Then it's 870, 859, and then I'm in fourth at 849. So,
Pretty
congrats, Jeff.
Oh, it's saying okay. All right.
I have a gentleman 727.
I was trying to think if this thing was saying literally the sum of all scores, and it is, and it's me with 19,593.17 points.
So 19,000 divided by how many years divided by how many weeks? What is your average?
That's varied quite a bit. I don't know.
No.
There's he's added a bunch of stuff in here, so I need.
Well, and the NFL also changed from a 16-game schedule to a 17-game schedule at some point, which added a week to our fantasy season.
Also, this is actually big news. Oh wait, no, it's not, because I think it's talking. I thought it got rid of these. I think now Brian Nelson is our most losses record holder at 96.
Whammy.
So, I think he just.
You know what he has though?
I think he beat out Trevor Michelson. I believe. All right.
Most losses, Brian Nelson. That's what it shows. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Brian Nelson.
Snaps for Brian.
Yeah.
Congrats, Tito Lee Woods Killers.
All right. Okay, that's presidents. It's great to be in presidents. Waivers trades. There actually was a trade.
Where?
In presidents, there was a trade.
When?
Where'd it go?
It was pretty whatever.
It was very pedestrian.
Excuse me.
It was an asset, maybe an asset conversion.
Yeah, it was.
What was it?
Corey Anderson and Jeff did Madison to Wilson.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Oh, I missed that.
That was
so Corey, again, I talk to Corey all the time. He's pretty desperate, trading away second-round pick Garrett Wilson for fifth-round pick Alexander Madison. Needed a win this week. Alexander Madison's game was on Sunday, and it was on Monday, and he was just dead. He needed 40 points out of Alexander Madison, so it was a little bit of a punch in the dick in that sense that he made this trade and it just didn't matter. But
it's tough.
Sorry, bud.
I get it.
I guess since I'm just spending all of my time defending my honor in this podcast, I can address the president's comments from also, I think, when I was at a theme park. I was accused, I believe, of what's the term? It's like roster churning when you do a bunch of ad drops or something like that. It was very half-hearted, but I think I tried to add Kendrick Bourne, and instead I added some random dude.
Kayshawn Booty?
That wasn't on the podcast.
What?
But that wasn't on the podcast.
Yeah, Kayshawn Booty from LSU is a rookie.
Yeah.
They both have KB as their things.
Yeah. I did this literally. I was in my bed, looking at it, and I couldn't really read. So I ended up adding him, and then dropped him, and then added, and then Todd
tried to make some hay out of it.
He tried to make a thing out of it. I think I probably add and dropped somebody else within a 24-hour period because who I wanted there had shifted, and I think he was trying to accuse me of locking out players. But it's my understanding that Sleeper won't actually put a player back on waivers. If you do drop a player who if you add a player, don't keep them for 48 hours, I think, and then drop them. They're just going to be a free agent. So if anyone didn't know that, that's the case. You can't do that. You can't like try to add all the kickers and drop them all to lock it out. I don't like unless you did that
what
to
you
your
did
whole
last year?
roster. What?
Is that what he was trying to get at? What you did last year to lock Logan out of a kicker?
Well, that was different. I held him on my roster.
Yeah, you had him for a while.
Yeah, that's blocking. That's normal.
Yeah.
But he was saying that like I was locking by just add dropping, and you can't do that unless you add someone, hold them for 48 hours, and then drop them.
Got it.
So
Anyway,
No, that's
Tot. Speak when spoken to, buddy.
that's
you shut
legit.
your mouth.
That is legit fantasy football strategy. When there's a guy that's like questionable going
Yeah.
into Monday, you get his backup, like especially if it's a running back, quarterback, whatever.
oh yeah,
I mean that is pure gamesmanship.
yeah. Add
Totally
drop
above board.
blocks like I think ESPN or Yahoo or somebody used to let you do that. Like that was BS. That's actually against the rules of the Constitution. So
Yes.
we
Yeah,
can't
I
do it
locked
anyway.
Read the fucking document.
It's on the website. thebigdleague.weebly.com.
I grabbed a couple of
/Constitution.
QBs so Renner couldn't grab one. Then he grabbed Stafford and he dunked all over me. So
Well, sometimes
sometimes it
karma
works, sometimes
happens.
it doesn't.
All right. Yeah. All right. Was that pretty much it? Like you already talked about the waiver stuff, right?
Waivers were
I haven't.
trash this week.
Yeah, it was boring.
Buell dumped $30 on Josh Kelly because he scored a touchdown, and then in Blipto, I got a text from T-Shan. Hey, how much would you bid on Debo Samuel? I was like,
Probably every dollar you have.
what are you talking about? And apparently Debo hit the waivers, and he was debating on splitting his waivers between Kyler Murray and Debo. And I was like, why don't you just put it all on Debo?
Yeah.
And it still wasn't enough to grab him. Apparently,
Wow.
else spent 53. There was only 2 people that bid on Debo fucking Samuel,
That's
who
wild.
you would probably spend a 3rd or 4th round pick on.
Right. What was it earlier this year where Zhao dropped Jonathan Taylor? And did I text one or both
That
of you?
was
I was like,
correct. Yeah,
Yeah. I think
$100, $100, just
the
everything you
entire
had?
thing. Yeah.
Just I mean, you don't get another 2nd round pick. I mean, $100 fab is worth a 2nd round pick, easy.
And
that was. I didn't see any other trades other than the one you.
No,
just
nothing
said,
crazy.
so
Like not. I didn't see anything else that was wild. Although I want to say that every time I see Josh Kelly, I think, "Whoa, Josh Kelly, Bam-a-lam."
Yep.
I can't not.
he
put his
has
name
2
down.
good games the entire season.
Yeah,
They're
I held
both
on to
when
him.
Austin Eckler is starting.
Yeah, I held
You
on
can't
to him
start
because I
this
had Eckler, and I was like, "Oh, I'm really smart. It's gonna work." And that's probably why I've lost like 2 different games.
Waivers are so funny to me. Like, you'll have J.K. Dobbins go down, and you'll be like, okay, it's Justice Hill. That's the waiver pickup. And it's
Yeah.
like, he's been in the league for 5 years. I think we know who Justice Hill is,
Yeah.
and he's not going to save you.
No.
He's not that guy.
No.
And again, this is coming from a guy who paid $100 for Jerome Ford. I think that's worked out okay so far.
Yeah.
He's also injured for 2 weeks now going forward, but
You got 2 weeks out of him.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
All right.
Yeah,
There's
it could have been me. I put fucking Jeff Wilson in my lineup last week. We're struggling over here.
All right, let's go. Well, to swing this around the back end here, let's just do our little just Josh segment. You keep asking people's names. It was just like a template I threw in there, and it was going to write like the guest's name. Like you don't have to ask their
State your name.
State your name for the record.
Joshua
full
James Canoes.
Name.
JJK. Wow.
JJK.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
like
We could have called you JJ this whole time.
It could have been JJ this entire
instead
time.
of Canoosed.
I
Say
guess.
your last name
Or-
again.
It's actually pronounced Canoosed.
Yes.
I don't care how you pronounce it. You can pronounce it Nuss.
Canoe.
whatever you
Say
want.
your name again.
Canoosed. Yep. There's actually another guy in the house that's a year younger than me. His name's Matt Knoll.
Knoll.
It's Knoll.
Mm-hmm.
He's rad. He's the front
Good
man
dude.
of a band for that Austin was in. Maybe not the front man. I guess Riley was probably the front man, but no, I don't really care how a name was pronounced. I actually got chewed out at Corey Anderson's desk a couple weeks ago for not knowing which of the three reasonably obvious pronunciations of Devin Achan. I called him A-Chain or A-Chan or A-Chain.
Ashane.
A-Chain was, I think, the other one. And Corey's like, how dare you? Like, he's a he said it was A-Chan, pronounce it A-Chan. I was like, dude, I don't care.
Watching the interviews, dude?
I know. Corey's a fucking
Didn't
dork.
Travis
Dork.
say when that Kelsey is not Kelsey, and everyone's just like, "Shut up, it's Kelsey."
Yeah, they were like, didn't he say it was Kels? Kels?
Yeah,
Travis
it's
Kelce?
supposed to be Kels, and everyone just ignores that. I'm gonna do the same thing with A-Chan.
And I told Corey this. I was like, as a guy who gets his name mispronounced all the time, I could give a shit how anybody else pronounces, or I pronounce anybody else's name.
Mm.
So,
well, little known
he's
fact, Jameson and I's name is actually Bundabree.
What? What are you talking about?
I was at a track meet once in high school, lined up in the 4 slot because I'm a fast motherfucker at the 800. I'll fucking just burn your rubber, buddy. The announcer said Austin Bundabree.
oh,
Not
that's
even
rough.
trying.
Not even close. Dude. A
Bundabadoo.
couple of extra B's, couple of extra whatever you want. Bundabree.
That's pretty
How
good.
do you even get to Bundabree? Okay,
I don't know. Interesting.
but no.
All right.
I guess it's A-Chan, Corey.
All right. thanks.
A-Chan, and I remember that because Jackie Chan. That's the only, mnemonicked it.
Right.
Mnemonic device or whatever you call it. I'm sorry for saying A-Chain.
Please apologize.
Also,
Don't apologize to us. Talk to
I
your
don't know
family.
how any of you guys
He's
learned to read.
watching.
I don't know how any of you guys learned to read, but this is how I learned to read. I'm actually going to diagram this.
Oh, good.
I don't know how to read. I just memorized the words.
Okay, so here's how you spell the word A-Chain.
Mm-hmm. He's holding up a paper with the word A-Chain on it.
My first grade teacher, Miss Del Montagna.
That's a security question.
Made the analogy. The E at the end of the name reaches back, pinches the vowel, and makes it say its name. So when I see this thing, I see Devin A and the E reaching back, pinching the vowel, and saying A. Devin A Chain. Okay. I would never read this left to my own devices and say Devin A Chan. And I explained this to Corey. He was still not super sympathetic, but I think he.
I don't think a lot of the vowels at the end are silent generally, right?
No,
like
why would they? And it's a reach back, pinch the vowel, make it say its name. The word chode. E reaches back. O.
A little too
Can we think of any where the vowel at the end
the word ride reaches back, pinches the I, says I ride. Just.
Is he just making it up to fuck with everyone? Maybe it's not actually A-Chain.
Yeah, maybe we gotta send this pod to him. Get this figured out.
All I'm saying is that I'm not sympathetic for people with their names being mispronounced, and I'm not super bent out of shape. In a conversation at Corey's desk that I'm mispronouncing a person's name, if I'm an announcer of a game and I'm saying A-Chain, yeah, maybe correct me, but like, Corey, fuck off. I don't care if I'm saying A-Chain.
This is a message to you.
Corey, fuck off, dude.
This is a message to one guy.
This discussion, one of the Edwards brothers is no longer watching. Because Ben just posted. So
this entire hour and 20 minutes has gone to what we're really getting at is fuck off, Corey. Shut up, dude.
Well, now that we've spent 15 minutes on your name, which actually was an actual discussion this time. Yeah.
So
what year did you join the league?
I think it was 2014. It was the first year of the league expansion.
Yeah.
I was 100% in. We went to Kansas City. It was the fart party.
Yeah, fart party.
If you don't know, we all ate barbecue and sat in a confined space and just lit it up. Absolutely fucking lit it up. People went out to smoke, came back, and was like, "Ooh, that's terrible." But yeah, that was my year. I pledged year 2008. That's the year I started as a freshman, which is how we do pledge year, right?
Yeah.
We don't do it.
So that's
Graduation.
that's the only way that makes sense. And
Right, because
the house does not though. If you go look at
Right.
everybody's stupid cups forever, they've been doing it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, and I would have been 2012 if you would have done estimated graduating year, but
Yeah.
I graduated spring 2013, 5 years of college.
Mhm.
Try it sometime. It's pretty sweet.
I probably should have done that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was great. But and then history with the league. I don't know. I've been I think I started in Royal Purple. I don't know what the impetus for that was. But I've been pretty good overall. I think league legacy, I'm like third behind fucking Dave, who honestly
Dave and Bogey.
I'm literally like 0-7 against Dave. And yeah, I'm 0-7 against Dave. So I think if I would have been 50-50 against him, this might be the other way around. But yeah, I'm third. I've got one championship, which has an asterisk because it was a COVID year, according to, I don't know. Bam, you've said that before, that my championship has an asterisk.
No, not because of the COVID year.
What was the asterisk because of?
Because of my trade.
What was your trade? Oh, you did a trade, and if you hadn't done it and you remapped it, you would have won.
Correct.
Okay, that's the deal.
I correctly identified a wide receiver 1 who then got injured immediately.
Well, anyways,
you handed Noose his trophy that I'm.
I guess, yeah, I guess. That's the thing is, like, I've had teams that have been absolutely batshit insane. Bamrick, you have said in whatever group me fucking whatever thing chat room we've been in.
Fucking
I remember
Antonio
a comment.
Brown team you had.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yep. It was like Antonio Brown, Todd Gurley in the 3rd round, maybe like a young Tyreek, maybe a young Alvin Kamara. That team was absolutely ridiculous, and it was a wagon. I didn't win, and the ones I've won or gotten to the championship game in have been like fucking stapled together teams of just a bunch of Jags, and you just get lucky in the playoffs. So I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to when I've had success or when I haven't, but
I do give you a lot of shit for that. But I think if anyone deserved a championship other than Jameson, it'd probably be.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't. I have not won the whole thing yet. That has been my goal since I started here. I want that gavel. I'm gonna.
Oh, the president's one.
Yes, I want it so bad.
Imagine having it at your house. Your name's not on it.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
But like
we have my name on it.
We have a TV above our mantle and a TV, our mantle, and then our fireplace. I'm going to very prominently display that trophy if and when I ever get it.
So you can just replace it.
What's that?
TV shouldn't go above fireplaces.
I know that. I know they shouldn't.
Replace it.
Mine is above the fireplace.
Move the TV to this basement room you're in, and then put the gavel where it belongs.
I actually put this will be a little inside baseball here, but I see that outlet that's just like way up there for no reason.
It's already done.
There's also a bunch of backing up there for when I mount a TV up here. So
we have a TV over the fireplace, but we have the frame TV.
Okay.
And it does look like a painting if it's during the day.
Yeah.
Nighttime, not at all.
But
we can kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
And then during the actual like red zone time, we're down in the basement, baby.
My wife's sister and I guess my sister-in-law, brother-in-law have that, and it looks pretty sweet above their thing. But there's no other place. There's no other. They built the house, and there's no other place other than above the TV. Excuse me, that they would be able to put a TV. But
we have
above the fireplace.
We put a fireplace into our living room. It was not there before. And so we had to like basically take where the TV was, put the fireplace, and then it was like the only spot we have is going to be above the fireplace.
Well, and like, I don't know. I mean, again, this is like way too niche, but where I would put a TV that wouldn't be above a fireplace, I'd have like glare from the one window in the living room or whatever. But whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it can be tough,
Yeah,
it can be tough.
So
sometimes you just got to do it.
Yeah,
so
I know.
If you're trying to make fun of somebody who has a fireplace TV, why don't you chill out?
Yeah.
we
Also,
don't
I
make a
watch
choice.
I watch like zero TV now. I don't know if this is
either.
unique to me, but
No, I don't.
I don't watch any TV at all.
Me
If
neither.
if it's on, it's football on Sundays in the background, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where the fucking TV is at that point. But whatever.
We have morning jazz going
that
or whatever
point-
art.
At
That's-
that point,
that's
it's this.
Yeah.
It's a radio.
Dude, if I could get Scott Hansen on an analog radio, I would.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even. I don't
would.
need to see it. I
All
just
day.
need. Yeah.
All right. Let's
Franchise info.
Yeah.
I'll cop to this. I'm not the funniest guy in the world. I thought in 2014, when we were coming up with franchises, I immediately got one when you proposed the idea. I thought we were going to be doing more Delt themed stuff. My franchise of Never Say Wombat. Wombat is a term that we used to say when a girl was when we needed dudes to run interference.
Maybe you don't want to hook up with her.
Yeah,
You're kinda
exactly,
too drunk.
exactly.
You're too
Now,
drunk. cut it off.
Admittedly, that didn't happen a lot for me, but it was a known thing that you would say wombat in that scenario. So I was like, okay, I'll just make a Delt theme thing. It's morphed into just wombats. My logo now is a kind of a powder blue wombat. I do plan on doing a rebrand to something either Game of Thrones or more likely Magic the Gathering related.
Mhm.
And I have some I think pretty good ideas for something like that.
You're
But
the prodigal sorcerer.
that would be great. Actually, can I share my screen for 1 second?
I don't know. I think there's a share button at the bottom. Can
Here,
you
let
do
me-
that?
You have to share it, and then it'll go to the left, and then you have to do show on
Okay.
screen.
Here,
All right.
here I'll just pull it up because it's making me declare a tab, which is really weird.
Jeff wants to workshop it. So Jeff didn't leave.
Jeff and I have actually talked. We talked a bunch at the thing.
Oh, here he goes.
Honestly, I think either place
What does it say?
noun or like adjective noun. So like Fighting Irish or Cincinnati Bearcats is what I want to do. I don't want to do something like
Hooting mandrills.
so I think Hooting Mandrills would be a fucking dope fantasy football mascot.
Yeah.
It's
Be
magic.
the,
It's a magic card.
Good.
the West Des Moines
That's
dual
really good.
lands.
So I think another sick way of doing it would potentially be something like the Dark Confidants, which if this would ever pull up, it would make more sense. But it's a magic card.
That
and I have
sounds
a list.
too serious.
Maybe.
I'm
You could,
on
you
the
could be,
monkey side right now.
all your franchises say, I'm really excited for Return to Ravnica Remastered.
Yeah, I know. Well, here, hold on 1 second. Let's see. I was pretty sure I had.
Magic's old, man. Now we all play Flesh and Blood. Just get
Dude,
get
no,
with
we
the
don't play
times.
Flesh and Blood. We
I
don't play
got
Flesh and
look
Blood.
at I got a you can't see it, but there's a bunch up there. I got a case
bought
of
some shit?
Everfest. Oh yeah, here.
All right, well, bring Evian and Flesh and Blood when you come up here for RJ's baptism.
You see my
Play
nerd
some shit.
area?
Yeah.
Those are all booster boxes.
That's the only thing I don't like about Flesh and Blood. I don't want to have to buy random shit to buy my.
You don't buy booster boxes. Don't ever buy them. This
Well,
was
like-
I just got a deal and I like cracking packs.
I think there's all I'm saying is I think there's some like Magic the Gathering related like veins to mine of like potentially cool like Thundermaw Hellkites or
There has to be something on
like,
the restricted list, right?
actually was it you or was it Jeff Edwards that said something like the Power 9, which is
That's
a reference
good one.
to like
Yeah, the Power 9's good.
the 9 cards that are like now worth $1 billion and whatever that I own none of, and
You could be the Mox Opals.
that'd be actually sick.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking rad, actually.
But I do plan on a
Gold
rebrand.
Lotus.
I do plan on a rebrand from the Wombats. I love Wombats. They're a cool animal.
Not that much.
The original joke didn't land as good as I thought. Again, not a funny guy necessarily, but
It's been 10 years.
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
We're not actively trying to get chicks not to sleep with us necessarily anymore. Maybe some of us are, but yeah. And then the last note, I guess, on your thing for the interview is news about your specific league, opinions, whatever.
Your final thoughts about the President's League.
President's League, I don't know. I mean, again, like I said before, there's 7 teams that are 4-3 or better. I mean, and you're looking at guys like, Jeff at 4-3, Davo at 4-3, you, Jameson at 4-3. I forget who else. Sam.
Yeah.
Todd's up there. I mean, these are killers, straight up killers. So, I mean, when we get to the playoffs, throw the records out the window. It's anybody's game once you get to the playoffs. My goal is to give myself a bye, a 1-game advantage where I don't have to care about it, and then I'll probably scrub out at that point.
We'll see.
Because it just feels like every time I just limp into the playoffs is when I do well in the playoffs, and every time I skate into the playoffs, it's when I just scrub out fucking immediately. But
yeah, it's just literally a coin flip, and it's not like a series. It's just one game.
No, it's one game.
You get some freak thing happen.
Yeah. But I guess I put one point on the agenda. Dude, it's fucking tough to watch football on Sunday afternoons with kids.
Oh, yeah.
Are your wives dragging you to... I mean, the Des Moines area is not that big, and there's probably 4 apple orchards. We've gone to every goddamn one of them.
Oh, that's yeah, man.
Every fucking one of them.
We're just my wife and I together are just going to a constant stream of birthday parties, or that was we're in birthday party season, man. That you're going to birthday parties sometimes twice a day. You're going to parties, it's just birthday parties all the time. And then if you're not doing that, then now once they get involved in activities, my oldest, she's in a few different things, so we're doing cheer and soccer and all this, these other things. And so man, it's funny you mentioned this, because I got the NFL Red Zone deal because I was $15 a month. That's probably the best way I'm going to watch NFL football, is just watch Red Zone.
I did too. I got that same thing. Yeah. I haven't watched more than 3 hours of it on a.
Yeah,
it's 7 hours
one day,
and it's fucking 3 hours that I watch.
One day I tried to watch it, and that was it. And I actually got ESPN Plus because I thought I'd be able to watch more Iowa State games. And there was one time where basically Aurora and I watched a game and she passed out, and that was kind of it. So it was it wasn't much of a. I canceled both of them because I was this is a waste of money. So no, I just gave up. It's same with playing video games. I just don't do that anymore either, because it's when there's no time.
The only full game of football I watch is either Sunday nights or Monday nights or Thursday nights. I don't watch a full game of football during the afternoon slate, or the noon slate or the afternoon slate. It just doesn't happen because we have something else to do. But I put another note, and I just, this doesn't matter to anybody but the two of you that can see this note. I said, tough to watch football with kids, much different than watching in the apartment that Denton and I shared while eating takeout like an otter. So Denton and I would used to get takeout, and we would have the takeout container on our chest while we were laying there eating, watching football. And it was honestly awesome.
Delicious.
For some reason, what I'm picturing is Hy-Vee Chinese.
Most of the time it was Chinese. We didn't. Yeah. I didn't do Hy-Vee Chinese. I did actual Chinese restaurants.
Yeah, I'm sure there's better ones than that, but for some reason, that's what strikes me.
Yeah, I mean to make you guys sad, but I've watched commercial-free football for 7 hours. Literally 6 out of the 7 weekends.
Well, you're not in birthday
party season. Well, and is your kid still just a bump on a log, basically?
She's 5 months old. So yeah.
She got a lot of friends? She going to a lot of birthday parties?
Not yet.
Yeah, you guys.
Well, you can do birthday parties on Saturday.
You guys probably
Merritt
will
must also not read the same books that my wife reads, where football for 7 hours on Sunday will melt their brain, and
they're asleep for half of it. That's
fine. They're not watching that. No way.
Yeah, and we have the play mat, and then a blanket over it so she can't see the TV, and then I'm interacting with her, but I'm also oh shit, did Jaden Reed just catch the most fucking bullshit touchdown of the entire year?
That is a good.
Yes,
that is a good move. Is
nice.
the shroud to make sure because
I love you so much, bro. Oh, that's so great. Also, Daddy's super pissed about that. Oh, I'm so mad about that.
I used to sit last year. I used to sit I was facing the TV, I'd have my like feet up on the end table with my like knees up, and I'd have one of the babies
They just
basically laying on my thighs, and they would crane their neck so fucking hard to like see football behind them
Yep.
that I was like, I can't even have this on.
I can't have her on my body. I have to put the blanket over and interact with her on the floor.
I think the most the dumbest thing I did that was similar to that was, so my wife came home. She comes into my office, and I look over.
Your office? The man's office?
Well,
She just walks
she came into
in?
the office, and I'm sitting in front of my thing. I have the baby bundle thing on, the strap the child to you.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest one at the time was very little, and she's looking forward, and I'm playing like Star Wars Battlefront.
So you just seeing laser beams fucking.
I have had Rosemary sitting in the corner of the couch because it's like my turn to watch her for like 30, 40 minutes. And I'm like, okay, just chill there for a minute. And I'm like finishing a quest in Cyberpunk. It's like,
yeah, it was
samurai sword like cutting people apart.
Yeah.
Okay, just
it might have not have been Battlefront. Battlefront probably would have been. It might have been Battlefield 1 right about then. Yeah. But yeah, that was funny. But yeah,
I don't know. I obviously think it's correct to not necessarily like sit your kids in front of a TV, but my argument was just like, hey, it's one day a week. Let's just have it on, whatever. And it's not going to like totally fucking.
It's mostly commercials and nothing.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, it has been an hour and a half. T-Shan will hate this pod.
T-Shan will hate it.
Gonna hate this pod.
I'm down to stay on if we want to stop recording, or if we want to keep recording and talk Magic the Gathering for half hour. And give the folks
give them what they really want. You want some Magic talk?
Something they never asked for.
I've got. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a live draft. I got a Wilds of Eldraine draft booster box right there.
Dude, I will do a booster opening with you guys right now. I have a couple different booster boxes over there on the shelf.
Oh my god!
I'll do it if you guys
you're
want.
Talking about, little kid.
I do have to piss first, but we can do whatever you guys want.
Well, I honestly got to get up at like 5:30 in the morning, so I probably can't do live pack unboxing streams. But I mean, I do have like, if we look at this over here, we've got.
I just ruined my camera somehow. I don't know.
We've got this.
Jesus.
This is a case of Everfest.
What is Everfest?
Oh, what the other thing I got that was big was what are those Jumpstart? Can you hear me? No. We got this. Oh, who's that? Oh, is that the Innistrad Midnight Hunt one from before?
This is one of the commander decks. This is the Will Helt zombie one.
Does that look like Brothers War?
I do have a Brothers War over here. Actually,
I got my Brothers War commander decks all sleeved up and ready to go.
Yeah, I've got a Modern Horizons. I've got an Innistrad Midnight Hunt.
Those are good ones.
Dominaria United.
Oh, that's really nice. These are classics.
Let her rip. Yeah.
Well, I got this Wilds of Eldraine draft boosters thing because I thought that I'd play draft. But the other thing I got was Jumpstart. I got like the Jumpstart 2020 booster box. I was kind of putting together a little play pack with that.
Those are like crazy cheap right now too on Amazon. So
yeah, which is goofy. They're awesome. I want to collect them all, but that's a bit much. This is actually what we're excited about right now. Whoops. The Flesh and Blood Round the Table box. Very exciting. This is a brand new product. If you're a Commander fan, this would be for you.
But yeah,
right.
I know. I should go to bed too, but we'll do a box opening someday.
Yeah, we could do that. That'd be fun.
We'll even put it on the feed and see if we get more than like a viewer and a half.
Well, I actually played
over under at that.
I have these I don't remember what company makes the beginner beginner decks or whatever. I can't remember who makes those, but I got a few of them, and I was playing with them Aurora, and I told her we would do our own like Friday Night Magic, where if she can beat me, like if she beats me, 2 out of 3, whatever. I got a Wilds of Eldraine like collect or the what's the what is it called? It has set boosters in it. The pre-release pack,
Bundle, maybe?
Yeah, the bundle. I got the bundle, and so we would just open one of those as like our prize, but we haven't been able to get to it yet.
Gotcha.
So it's fun.
I don't know. Magic
Where all,
rules. It
where
really
all
does.
your Magic cards are, Austin? Did you send them to me yet? Like you're supposed to?
Not yet. Not yet.
Mail them. Put them in a box like this. Put them in a deck, like a little deck box, and just mail them.
Mine are all in this shelf here.
That's a good amount.
Yeah.
What's your most expensive card, so I can come steal it?
It's probably a Mox Opal. Or sorry, a Mox Diamond.
There you go. Oh, Jeff wants to know what's in the box. This is the History Pack 1 cards I opened, all aligned here for Flesh and Blood. This is not for Magic. Beautiful. Look at that. Aren't you jealous?
I don't know how big I am on like the whole. Like in order to be competitive, you got to buy a shitload and like hope you get.
No.
Here's the deal.
No.
Here's the deal. I'm past it. If I don't have a card, this is fucking.
Yeah, you can do that.
Just
Proxy
do this.
it.
Cut it out.
Proxy it.
And who fucking cares? Like, I don't play any competitive actual tournaments where you need the real cards.
Right.
Like, who fucking cares? I just
That's
haven't put these
literally
out
all
yet.
it matters in. And also, you like
These are fucking printer paper.
Well, and the other thing about it is you have to, if you pick and choose your formats, like if you like what's called limited play in Magic, like there's no deck. You just here's your it's called sealed, right? Here's your 6 boosters. You're gonna open these up, make a deck, and that's what you play with. There's no like chasing cards or anything. Or if you're gonna play, you can play like Commoner in Flesh and Blood or Pauper in Magic, where it's just the cheap commons. So you gotta, if you pick and choose where you're playing, or like Commander, just buy a precon and be done with it. But we don't play that anymore.
These are pauper decks. Like there's not a deck in here that's probably worth more than like $40.
Yeah, but or if you play Flesh and Blood, we got all kinds of options there.
What about Evian?
Look, man, I don't know why you keep talking about Evian. It's right back there.
Because that was your big fucking deal, and now we're playing Flesh and Blood.
Well, I'm trying to. I've given up on trying to make games that are tiny work.
Is Evian too tiny to work?
Yeah, I think so.
Sucks because it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't. This is just
is
like
Flesh and Blood big enough to work?
Flesh and Blood is probably like the second. Like it is a game that is continuing to grow, that has significant support throughout the country. It's honestly
bigger than Evian. It's bigger than Netrunner.
Oh yeah.
We're at not obviously Magic levels, but we're above the other two.
Right, like a lot of the people that used to play Magic ended up going into Flesh and Blood because it reminds them of when Magic was like not owned by Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro or whoever sucks now. So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool game, but it's got like real people designing it, and it's large. It's not like Netrunner's deal.
Well, what I want to know, you and I, we play some card games, and we play them for a while. And what is that going to be? Is it going to be Magic? Is it going to be Flesh and Blood? Because I like Flesh and Blood a lot.
I think it should be Flesh and Blood, to be honest.
Netrunner I love, but it's basically a math problem.
Isn't Flesh and Blood one of those games where you just like every release you buy it and you have everything?
No, it's not an LCG. It's a TCG.
It is a TCG. Okay.
Yeah, but there's some cool things about it because like, so in Flesh and Blood, you start like you have equipment, right? Like your head, your whatever slots and everything are. You can reuse that between decks. Like, so if there's a card called Fyendal's Spring Tunic, it's like a comp card, right? It's like a very common chest piece. It gives you extra action economy, that kind of thing. But they just reprinted it, so it's like this card, if you were a super comp player, is $80 now. But you can use it in all of your decks, and you only need one copy of it. But then also, like, if you don't want to spend any $80 on a deck, like you don't want to be like, oh, I'm going crazy on a $1,000 deck, or whatever. I'm just getting thrown out a number there. There are other things you can play, and then again, you can play like a draft format where you're just drafting from packs. And they just did, the most recent set had a crack shuffle play where you take 3 packs, crack them, shove them together, and play because it's all the same class.
Magic has modes like that, and honestly, some of those, like what are called
They're
limited.
so fun.
Those are some of the most fun
Yeah.
play experiences I've ever had. I mean,
Right. Like there's a like basically instead of Friday Night Magic, it's called Armories in Flesh and Blood, but like it just depends on like most people there are not like Crush players. You just get involved and say like, hey, I'm new. And here like I'm playing a Blitz Precon deck or whatever, like which is the smaller format,
Right.
and people would understand and just play. They shouldn't be crushing you.
Yeah, Netrunner was one that was the latest Netrunner set came out, and you buy it and you get both sides, like
Yeah.
the runner and the
You get
court. You
everything.
have everything. So all you have
Yeah.
to do is find somebody to play with. But
Yeah.
the problem is it's fan made, and
Right.
so it's just fans coming up with the cards. The cards might suck ass. Also, you have to interact with fans individually, and the people that are running the fucking Netrunner stuff are insane. Like by I don't even know what I'm like getting at, but they're like really painful to deal with, and they're the ones like in charge of everything that comes out
weapons
for Netrunner.
grade autism.
Oh wow,
Dude, yeah. Like
There-
just
I mean,
fucking
it's
awful
just-
people.
It's just like I really appreciate what they did. That game is awesome to
Yeah.
move it forward and all that stuff. But like,
I bought a couple sets.
yeah, I bought a couple
And then
sets.
I'm
It's
just
very
out.
cool. But yeah, like I think I'm trying. Like I need a certain level of like ability to play this in real life.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
Yeah.
store buy-in and events and things like that. And
You
like
can't get these cards in the stores.
right, and the Magic stuff, like I am
Yeah.
like I think the Universes Beyond thing sucks at this point.
It's rough, dude.
It's
it's-
and they're just doing more of it.
Every other set is not a Magic IP. It's a
No.
Lord of the Rings.
They
or,
just announced Marvel is going to be like 3 sets
Jesus.
worth. They just had Doctor Who. They're
I know.
throwing in
Well,
Transformers.
I couldn't care less about Doctor Who.
Right.
Lord of the Rings, I was even
Assassin's
neutral on. And it's
Creed.
just like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. The Assassin's Creed Commander. Like I don't know. They just.
Well,
I like
the running,
Magic.
The running joke with Magic Universes Beyond, for those that don't know what it is, it's basically
Mm-hmm.
like Magic has a lore, a flavor or whatever. Universes Beyond is like, hey, what if Lord of the Rings was a Magic set?
Yeah.
And they made cards with,
Right.
Gandalf, Aragorn and Gandalf and Frodo and Sam. Just like they made all that shit shoehorned into a Magic framework, and they did that recently here now for Doctor Who. Like all of a sudden, like in 5 years, it's going to be in certain competitive formats where it's like, hey, my fucking Captain America attacks you, you block with your
He's not joking.
your Sherlock Holmes,
Yeah, that's
and
awful.
I cast my
Warhammer 40,000 guard.
Warhammer 40,000 mass mutiny card, whatever. Like it's going to be like a fucking jumble of all these different IP properties that are in a deck. Like you may have a deck that's 60 cards and you can play 4 of each different card.
Is that just like Magic
might have
legal now? Like
yeah.
the
I mean,
normal format is like I have to deal with Captain
It's-
America.
I mean, without getting into it too far, I mean, Magic has a standard format, which is the last 2 years worth of cards. That's all
what I
going to
mean,
be
though.
Magic IP. Then anything beyond that, you're going to probably end up like crossing paths with some of the Universes Beyond stuff.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have your Magic. If you're really immersed in Magic, where it's goblins, elves, like high fantasy type shit. There's a fucking Walking Dead card that's relevant. So it's like Rick
You can have
Grimes.
the Rick Grimes card. Yeah, I mean it's just stupid.
It's so
Ridiculous.
strange. It's so weird.
Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, so I obviously, there people's entire careers is talking about this kind of stuff. But yeah, more or less, it's like I have little pieces of the Magic stuff I've kind of got in case I want to interact with it. Like I've got Commander decks ready. I've got like like the Jumpstart stuff, which is literally like they have half decks of themes, so like wizards and above the clouds, or arcane spellcasters, or vampires, and you just take 2 of them and shuffle them together and play against them. So that's a cool.
The Jumpstart
format.
stuff is super good.
It's sick.
Like honestly, Jumpstart is like if you're just like, hey, I want to try Magic.
Yeah,
That's
there's no deck
building.
building.
And also, if you were like somewhat entrenched in Magic, I would just tell you, hey, every time they release a set, there's a pre-release tournament.
Those are the fun ones.
Just go play those.
Well,
Don't-
with both of these games, it's not about playing the most competitive format
Right.
and like spending thousands of dollars. People do that, and that's
People
fine.
can do that. There's an
You
option.
have to like look at the landscape and be like, these are the pieces I play. Because
Yep.
like in Magic, yeah, like all the limited formats, which is the stuff where you get packs and open it, like draft and sealed, where you get like
Yep.
your own packs and do it. That's cool. Pre-releases like that. So nobody's played this set before. They
Yep.
get their little pre-release pack, which is like $15.
Dude,
Open it up.
I would routinely
Yeah.
go to
Those are the best.
in at the height of my powers playing Magic. I would get beat by like 8-year-old kids that open an insane sealed pool. From a sealed pool is 6
It's so
booster
cool.
packs. You make a deck out of it, and I would just get dick fucked by 8-year-olds sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they just had the best 3 cards in the set, and I'd be like,
Right.
oh fuck.
If you were going to interact with Magic, I think the best, like the 3 things: Jumpstart, which is like, here's 2 themes, push them together, and that's it. Pre-release / limited, and Commander, I guess, is probably one. But I'd even like kind of take that away, Commander, just because everyone seems to be playing it. But like, yeah, honestly, like with the Flesh and Blood stuff, like I want to get to Armories and just play, like, they basically have 2 main formats: Blitz, which is like it's younger heroes. So that's the big thing about Flesh and Blood, is you have a hero and everything's kind of themed around that. So they've got less health. You've only got 2 copies of any particular card. And I think you have like a 40 card deck, and then there's like I think it's 30 and then
Classic
50 or something.
Constructed
And it's a
40
little bit, and then there's
80.
Classic Constructed, which is adult heroes and a bigger deck, and that's like that's the standard of the thing. But because there's no rotation, it's not how it works. They just have sets that have different focuses, which is kind of cool because you have this expanding card pool. But like, I don't know if you've looked into this, but the way that they get around that sort of power creep with heroes is that through the events that they do during the year, the heroes that are out get Living Legends points. And when those heroes hit a certain threshold, they get Living Legend status, which means they're removed from Classic Constructed legality. So like, they just retired this one that had been doing really well for a while. And so like you get but like the cool part about that is that I don't think their equipment isn't illegal, just the hero. So like I think they have like or a lot of the cards that they might use, just kind of like the other heroes get a chance, and then the meta shifts and all this stuff. So
no, and Magic has that too. Magic bans cards routinely, where
this is more like there's no rotation, and it's the nature of the game. It's less of a, I don't know. It just functions a little different than the ban list, I guess. But yeah, it's
a version of it though.
Yeah, same idea.
Yeah, the way Netrunner was like, if a new set came out, whatever set came out like 2 years ago is not legal anymore.
That's like a typical rotation. Yeah.
So
like
that would be for Magic. That would be standard. Again, there's like, I always say standard, modern, legacy. Standard is the last 2 years worth of cards. It's a very limited card pool. They are designing cards for standard.
Yeah.
And then modern would be from now to like 10 years ago. Yeah. And then legacy would be now to 20 years ago. Well, you think about that. There's
a lot of cards.
20 years worth of card pool. Some cards that are being printed and that make a splash in modern might not make a splash in legacy because they just can't crack that 20-year card pool, and it's
that's the thing with
interesting challenge.
Blood,
I don't envy any of those game
4
designers.
Years. Like, how do I know?
Well,
they don't learn 4 years of cards. That's
dude, start playing Magic right now. You'll have to learn fucking. There's cards printed in 1992.
Yeah.
Well, there's like, I mean, I had that same thing, and there are general resources where you can be like, I do want to play Classic Constructed, and I really like Rhinar with that Brute guy, and you can go start a deck for about $100, and then you're good. Which one booster pack or booster box at like retail price is like about $100. So like that's when we're saying, don't ever buy booster boxes, because like when you're playing decks, you want full play sets of cards. You want to buy these. So if you go buy the rule is just always buy singles. So you go find a deck you like, based on whatever hero you want to play, and go from there. So it's usually like if you want to play like a Blitz pre-constructed deck, those are like $10, and then you can build on that. Or that's generally how people kind of get into the different formats.
Are we still recording?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
No, we told people to turn the podcast off.
Yeah, this is all
at
dork
like
stuff.
like an hour and 30 minutes or
Nice
whatever.
one, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but no, like I routinely play. Like there's a format of Magic that I play. It's with my limited amount of time. I've identified it as the one I like. It's the only one I play. Well, I guess I play two. I still play Commander. I have Commander decks together. And if
Mhm.
I go to a store and the guys that I planned on playing Canadian Highlander with don't show up, I play
Regular Commander.
regular Commander with whoever. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's a format where I'm playing with a guy routinely who is, I don't know, in his late 20s, no kids, no whatever. He's playing also on the side of the format that I play with him. Some of the most relevant and new competitive formats he's playing every day of the week. He plays so much fucking Magic, it's unreal. And he will come into this older format, and I will do something, and he's like, I didn't know you could do that. I've never seen that card before. Whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is like me playing Magic for fucking 14 years now at this point. And, it's just such a long history of the game
Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I take for granted because I have been in it for 14 years. I even feel like a baby because there's people who've been playing since 1998.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean,
Like,
that's what I had.
and-
I inherited a deck in 90 or a collection in like 99.
Yeah.
It was all Urza Saga stuff. It was all that kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that collection got stolen, which is a real bummer, but like, that was really cool. Like I recognize a lot of those old Phyrexian stuff. Like that was neat.
It's just crazy how like in a game that's lasted from like early 90s, I can't even remember what it was.
93, I think.
I was going to say 92, 93, like Gen Con, whatever the Gen Con was. That's
Yeah.
where Magic the Gathering debuted. It is 2023. Magic had its 30-year anniversary within the last,
Yeah.
8 months to a year. And like there's been people playing since then that are still playing. There's been people
Mhm.
that played right away, took a break for 20 years, are back now. There's
Yeah.
been people that have been in and out of it, and then there's also been people that I interact with that just started playing and they're like, what do you mean they used to stack damage? Or what do you mean they used to, and
Anti.
yeah. What
Yeah.
what do you mean they used to fucking who knows? Just whatever you want to find. You can find an example of everything where, if you didn't see it in the time that it came out, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to you now in 2023.
Right. Just like wild stuff.
Or like I guess one of the biggest things is like, hey, there used to be a card called Jackal Pup. It used to be insane. It was a single red mana for a 2/1. Whenever it was dealt damage, it would deal that much damage to its controller. And just because it was a 1 mana 2/1 that could attack for 2 on turn 2, that was like insane. That was the
right.
bar.
Just these little tiny things. Yeah.
And if you printed that card today, it wouldn't do anything. It would never see play. People
Mhm.
would laugh at it, and it's just like you're saying, the Flesh and Blood, it's only 4 years old, but the game's changed so much in 4
Yeah.
years. I mean, think about it over 30 years.
Right.
Like if Flesh and
Right.
Blood is still around
Well,
in
like
30
they
years,
printed dual lands like that.
Right.
And they, like this, that's not a thing. Like
they
won't
printed
ever do it.
dual lands. They printed the literal best thing you could possibly print, and then they've never printed anything that's
Black
as good.
Lotus or the like whatever. Yeah. Like here's 3 free mana. Like that's ridiculous. It's insane.
There's a podcast I listen to called the Receivables. It's a guy named Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan. They were like longtime a commentator pair for one of the Magic circuits, and they go back through and they've started with Alpha, like the first Magic set,
Wow.
and they've done a review of all of it. And
That's cool.
and Patrick, like Cedric is a competitive player. Patrick's also a competitive player, but Patrick is has made a career in game design. He worked for like Upper Deck for a while. He's worked for actual Wizards of the Coast that makes Magic, and like they critique the set from both a like competitive game design flavor. Like they really go into it. It's an awesome fucking podcast if you're at all interested. And they're like, they grade on a curve a little bit because I mean, when you're making Magic, there's so many moving parts to that game, even in Alpha, that like, how could you know that they made a cycle of cards that was, there's 5 colors of Magic. There's white, blue, black, red, green. The white one was 1 white, gain 3 life. The blue one was 1 blue, draw 3 cards. The black one was 1 blue or 1 black, add 3 black mana to your mana pool. The red one was deal 3 damage for 1 red, and the green was target creature, it's +3/+3 for 1 green mana. Now, if you look across that now with 2023 design perspectives, obviously gaining 3 life doesn't mean shit for one mana. Drawing 3 cards is one of the best Magic cards that's ever been printed. Dark Ritual, not one of the best Magic cards that's ever been printed, but pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt still relevant. Giant
Right.
Growth still relevant. Like,
Yeah.
how would those guys know in
No, they're just,
1993?
like, playing the theme, yeah.
Yeah, like what they were really getting into,
Yeah.
or what they were really playing with. Like, and it's insane that they were even as good as they were at designing that game as they were.
Yeah.
Given, I mean, Magic was the first. Magic was
What's
the
his
first
name's
trading
a
card game.
mathematician, but yeah, right.
And like it's still to this day, like, I mean, Magic gets compared to chess as far as like a game of so many interactions and so many, you know, whatever. And I mean, chess is a game of perfect information. Magic is a game of imperfect information and also chance. So it's, you know, it's not apples to apples, but like, I mean, how those people on the early end of Magic did pretty well for what they could have reasonably been expected to know about how the game would evolve, you know, from the start of it. But I don't know. It's really impressive. There's some stuff that you're like,
for a reason.
Yeah, there's some stuff that you're like, what the fuck were they thinking? And then there's some, like, you also have to look at that and be like, well, how would they have known?
Yeah, you'd have no idea.
You know,
And there's even now, but now it's like there's so much that I don't know how they're keeping it all straight. But
right.
Well, like, I think if you're I guess like my little soapbox is like for TCGs or whatever, or trading card games, it's always worth to have like a commander deck. Like, like having the ability to like just play a little Magic. It's the universal game. Like, that's why like Jumpstart's neat, or just having like a booster box, you can kind of do that. That's why I have this stuff here. It's just like,
honestly, like a commander deck. If you had one commander deck, you could walk into any hobby shop
of the games now,
and you'd be able to sit with a group of people and play.
And you can just go to take a pre-con like off the shelf, like those ones you have. Take those to the thing, and you're good. That's like $40, and you're done. Like, and you'll be fine. You might not win it,
you
but you'll have
could
a good
spend
time.
another 30 and turn that pre-con into a pretty relevant,
right? And you'd be fine.
Deck. Yeah.
But I guess my pitch for like why I kind of like I was kind of looking for something to do. Like, I got rid of all my miniature wargaming stuff. It's all in the garage. I kind of was frustrated with the amount of time that kind of stuff took. But I was looking for a game, kind of scratched an itch, and that's why like Evian looked really cool. But like Evian, you can't really play online with like a good client. You've got like, and it's so small that it seemed like that I kind of have moved on. Netrunner, Austin had the same problems. Like, it's an awesome game, but like it's just the way it's organized and everything is not really for us. Magic's is just overwhelming, kind of. Like,
it's really overwhelming. Yep.
So I have the commander deck I can play, but like I've moved to the Flesh and Blood thing just because everything I read was just like, first off, the game is awesome. Like, it really feels like a duel. Like, it's got a great system there, and it does. Like, I really like playing it. But the company behind it is like early, you know, Magic the Gathering, kind of like that feel, the way that they're organizing the game, the way they're focusing on the game. So like, excited about that. But then also the idea that maybe I'm not getting in on the ground floor, but like when it's still early, but like based on the growth and the numbers and like the popularity and like everything that's going on now, like it's not dead. It's been 4 years. Most TCGs die by now. And it's just, it is like, you know, when you're talking about TCGs actively played, you have like Magic, Pokemon, and then maybe like that One Piece one and Flesh and Blood are right next to it.
Yu-Gi-Oh is probably in the conversation.
Oh yeah, I felt like that kind of died off. But yeah, you're probably. I mean, you're talking about like if you're talking about like, I guess the non-children's games generally.
Well, and I don't know. I've never been a big like video game guy. I didn't own any consoles growing up. The first console I owned was like 16 years old. I bought an Xbox, like a normal Xbox One or 360, whichever the one that was next one, had already been released, and I was buying the previous version, and it was just to play like Madden and NFL. So I'm not a video game guy, and like part of me thinks that like I think these TCGs and stuff they're awesome games, but the barrier to entry is way higher than buying an Xbox
Yeah.
and a fucking copy of a game.
Yeah.
And then whatever. And with those, you don't have to find people to play with, and whatever. And I've always enjoyed the social aspect of Magic. I still to this day, I have a big a huge Discord of 50 guys in the Des Moines area that play the one format I play, and we just talk about it all the time. We talk about all the new cards that are coming out, all the crazy shit that's going on. We even talk about the fucking shit we cook. Like, it's just the social aspect of these kind of more nerdier niche games is appealing to me versus playing Call of Duty or playing like
when we're talking about Flesh and Blood stuff, but when he was making his like mission statement about the game, it was like literally
Flesh and Blood. We want to play in the Flesh and Blood.
It to be about like the table getting games in, playing.
We want to get together,
like that was
Flesh
the whole
and Blood
point.
with each other. Like we're here in a space, Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, and so that's like a pretty. I like that.
Now we play on Talishar and don't have to do that.
And now, well, I can't. If you were here, I'd play you, and if like I see you, then we can play. But it's neat that exists because then we can play. Like it's nice to have a client like Magic Arena is a thing, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And then there's like Magic Online and stuff. And then, but like Evian didn't really work because I'm not going to boot up Tabletop Simulator. And then Netrunner's got one too. But yeah, we could play on Talishar, play Flesh and Blood when you live so far away. But yeah,
with Netrunner, I'd rather play on Jinteki because of the amount of math you have to do to play Netrunner. I would just rather have it
right. You need like a
but I could definitely see on at least watching the videos of Flesh and Blood, like I get it. You're floating whatever. You're floating what 1 to 2 at most.
You can float 3, I think.
Yeah,
is
whatever.
The most.
Yeah, whatever that thing is. Like it seemed way more complicated, and then I played a couple of games. I was like, oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah, it's got its complications in timing. I've heard, but like for the most part, it's pretty.
So with Magic, Jameson and we played for like 2 straight weeks, and I was like, I actually only like white.
Yeah,
so I just bought white. I just was like, I'm gonna only buy angels and like smite people.
Dude,
so I just have like an entire box of
Magic
white.
is so sick from like a self-expression. Sense. Like
the color pie is brilliant.
You can't kill me. I'm just gonna keep healing myself and smiting and healing and smiting, and that's it.
Yeah, the color pie is brilliant.
White weenie.
The 5 colors of Magic have such cool, unique identities. There are people that only like playing green, only like playing black, only like playing red, like playing blue-red, like playing white-blue. Like it's crazy how much your personality can write itself onto how you play Magic.
Yep.
That it's just such an incredible game.
I think that's why they did such a good job with like the color pie and the planes and all that stuff. And like, I'm not up to speed on all the story. I've watched a couple of videos and all that stuff, like really like the Phyrexian stuff. But like it all, like the way that the color pie interacts with the game is so cool. I think that's why I hate the Universes Beyond stuff so much. Like I appreciate what it's doing, and I'm not a hardcore Magic guy. So like if it's bringing more people in, that's great. But like, someone pointed out it's going to be like Fortnite, the game. Like any random thing is just going to be patched in there.
Yeah, they will have like like I said earlier, you're going to have a game where LeBron James attacks and Lady Gaga blocks and fucking Optimus Prime.
Which is a real card right now. There is an Optimus Prime.
There's actually a Transformers version of Magic. Yes.
Yeah. Which was in the Brothers War, which is so stupid. Whatever. We can complain about that. All right. Yeah. It is almost midnight. I actually have to go. Teresa's going to be like, what were you doing? And I'll be like, well, we turned it into a Magic the Gathering podcast for an hour. So
I mean, when did Jeff say he hopped off? It was short, 11:18.
30 minutes ago.
Like almost 30 minutes ago.
All
and he probably stuck around for
he was the last
a few minutes of the nerd stuff. So
yeah. Well, now there is an online client, Canoost, if you want to come on over to this.
To Fab? No, here's the deal. I have so many hobbies. I like to
Why not
hunt.
add one more?
I like to hunt. I like to play Magic. I like to golf. I like to watch sports. I just I can hardly do those 4. I don't need to add Flesh and Blood or video games or.
All right, well then you're out. Then me and Austin are just gonna play the Ira Welcome deck over and over and over until eternity.
Yep.
For eternity, yeah.
All right. Well, all right. I think that we can call it. Thank you for coming on here and
Thank you.
talking about nerd stuff for an hour and a half.
Honestly, I've listened to probably, I don't know, 1 million podcasts. Never been on one. This was a lot
There
of
you
fun.
go. That's a first. Yeah.
That a boy.
All right. I think we're gonna call it. And I'm gonna pass out and wake up in 5 hours. So
All right.
Yep.
great.
Love
Great
you. Bye.
pod.
See you guys.
See you guys. Bye.